Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another amazing episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito, especially on Tuesday, which is today, because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He is Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. 3 continents down, 3 more to go. No cap, straight facts, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have a special guest tonight. And just like our show, she's doing amazing things. That's right. She's over in the great country of Canada. Love that Canadian bacon. Love that maple syrup. Home of Bret Hart, the Rougeaus, and current WWE Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. She's a ring announcer and valet for one of the best promotions, most exciting promotions in Canada, Super Kicked. And she's also an actress, and she recently played Tammy Lynn Sytch in the season premiere of Darkside of the Ring. Everybody, welcome to the show, Miss Lulu.
Woo! Thank you so much. That was quite the introduction. Thank you.
Hey, no, actually, you know something? Thank you for actually, taking time out of your busy schedule to do this for us. We really and truly appreciate it. We were thinking, well, man, wait, she acted as Tammy Lynn Sytch, aka Sunny, on the premiere of Darkside of the Ring this season, the current season. Man, like, should we even try to contact her? We probably have to go to like 10,000 agents, 10 dozen agents to get her on our get her on our show. Oh man. And then we were like, something, let's just go ahead and attempt and see what happens. So we really and truly do appreciate taking time out of your busy schedule to actually be on our show and talk wrestling with us and so on. How you doing tonight?
I'm really grateful to be here. I'm so glad to be here. And yes, it has been a busy schedule because not only did I work on episode 1, but I continued to work on multiple episodes from this season. So I was on set all last week with Darkside as well. And so this is like my one day off here in Canada, and we finally have some sun. So I'm doing all right today. Had a really beautiful day here in Toronto, and we're looking forward to episode 2 tonight. So it's another exciting big day in the world of wrestling and Darkside of the Ring. It has been busy. Yes. Between that and actual wrestling shows and yeah.
Well, I just got to say, congrats on getting that opportunity. It's always a great opportunity to, be able to, work on something that you actually love, that you've actually been a fan of, for most of your life and everything. And you're actually our second ever person to ever, you're the second person we've had on our show to actually act on, Darkside of the Ring, because we had another guy by the name of Brandon Savage. 2 seasons ago, I believe it was 2 or 3 seasons ago. Yeah.
Oh,
and
cool.
he acted as the Macho Man for his episode. So yeah, it's always great to, it was definitely an honor to have somebody from that show on here. And yeah, I still can't believe we had him on, but yeah, Darkside of the Ring is definitely,
that episode was sick, so that's really cool. Yeah.
I remember when I first saw them, I was like, okay, Darkside of the Ring. All right. I mean, I guess they're talking about some stories and whatnot. I guess they're talking about some stories about that we never heard of before. And the first season, I was like, yeah, okay, all right. I mean, they're doing their thing. But as I got to the end of the first season, the second season was, starting, I was like, I wonder what they're going to talk about next. And then from there on, like, to me, they've become like a phenomenon because, like, they're talking about stuff that you've never heard before. Like the whole thing with, I didn't even know Chris Candido had a brother. I did not know that. And they shed a lot of light on that episode. And it's I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I believe tonight's Magnum TA.
Yep, Terry Allen.
And the and then the episode I'm looking forward to mostly is the last one,
Oh,
Marty
Bam Bam.
Jannetty.
Oh
And I
wait, what?
want
Oh, they're doing Marty Jannetty last. I thought Bam Bam Bigelow was last. I feel like Marty Jannetty's second last. I'm not sure. Sorry.
oh no, so I read on a on I don't know how true it is, but they said Marty Jannetty was going to be last. Um, it doesn't whether it was last, second to
I just
last.
filmed that episode on Friday. I was playing. I was in a Marty party scene. Oh my god, that episode is absolutely outrageous. So it is going to be you are waiting for something great. You're waiting for a good one. But I do actually believe it's the second last
Well,
episode.
I'm not gonna ask anything about that episode. I'm just gonna leave it
Yeah,
alone. But
I was in it though.
I've always been so. I'm gonna tell you this a little. So for those of you that don't know, that are watching and listening right now, that are new to watching our show, I was a huge Rockers fan. The Rockers were my first ever favorite tag team. So I was in shock for the rest of the day when I saw that Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels broke up, and the way they broke up, I could not believe. I thought it was like a bad dream, like a nightmare. And I always felt that. I mean, of course, we know Shawn Michaels went on to become, Shawn Michaels, one of the best in the business. But Marty Jannetty, he just never could get to that level to where Shawn Michaels, had gone, or at least like three-quarter way, which he should have where he should have rightfully been, because Marty Jannetty is a very talented wrestler. Was a very talented wrestler. I mean, he's still alive, but I think he may be retired. I don't know if he's still wrestling, but he was a very talented wrestler, and I would say he's just as talented as Shawn Michaels. But it's just that he had some personal issues, which I'm not going to speak about, that kept him back from it. But the one thing that always irks me is when people say you're the Marty Jannetty of the tag team, and I'm like, do y'all even know what you're saying? First of all, you're saying Marty Jannetty is not an untalented person. He's talented. He would run rings around a lot of people in pro wrestling today. A young Marty Jannetty. And you're also saying that you're insinuating that you're the Shawn Michaels. You're either or you're saying either two things. You're either saying, one, you're the Shawn Michaels of the group, which, okay, if you're saying that you're the Shawn Michaels of the group, you better be like top notch, like never had a bad match, have classical moments that fans will remember for years. Or, and I just discovered this one, you're the Leaf Cassidy of the team. And I always say that's worse than Marty Jannetty, because Leaf Cassidy, I don't get me wrong, I love Al Snow. I got nothing but love for Al Snow. Great wrestler, a lot of charisma. But Leaf Cassidy was just that kid that you just, Rob, you remember when you played dodgeball or some sport, and you always had that last person to get picked? That was Leaf Cassidy. So, yeah. But enough. You know what? I'm rambling. I'm digressing. This is not what we're here for. Miss Lulu, if I may ask, I always ask 99% of our guests that are on this show, how did your love for wrestling start? What made you tune in every week?
All right.
Go ahead. If it's a long story, we got time.
Oh well, here's the thing. I'm a child who was brought up in the 90s. So this was already, here we go. We already started with being a child that was brought up in this era. Now here's the thing about my story, is that I was brought into a family with the head honcho mother, who was very much a model, very girly, like all about fashion. I literally thought fashion television was the news as a child. Like my house was about fashion and very girly things, because my mother had 3 daughters. So there was no wrestling in my house. That was not happening. My mother bought the Family Channel, which was a box that you had to buy at the time that you stuck on top of the television. And that's all we were allowed to watch, my sisters and I. So this was the beginnings of me wanting what I could not have, which is, it's like be careful what you tell your children they are not allowed to do, because they're going to want it all the more. So we would go to my cousin's house, my cousin, who just so happened to be a boy, not to gender sports or anything, but he had all of the wrestling figures, and they always had wrestling on the television. It was just a staple all the time. And so I would be fascinated. We'd hang out and I would get to watch it through, cousins or friends. And I think I think in a kind of really kind of sad sad way, it began because I wasn't allowed to. And um, and then I was always a child that was constantly making shows for the family. It was the way that my sisters and I, we just, every chance we get, we'd create a show, and I would always be the sassy director. And so my whole entire life, I was into theater. Not that I could, and in a cheeky way, I say, oh, well, pro wrestling's theater disguised as a sport. You cannot compare any type of art form or sport to professional wrestling, and I find it so endlessly fascinating because of that. But it does have roots as well in the world of performance and theater. I mean, right back to like Colosseum days and the Roman times. You're sitting in a big space in a circle, and you're watching fight and drama, and we involve some soap opera kind of storyline as well. So I think it was, I don't think it was definitely Sable who said this. She said, I think there's a lot that people don't know about professional wrestling, and one of those things is that we are entertainment. So I come at it from a theater entertainment angle. I think because of my love of live performance, when I here, sorry, now I'm rambling. There was a part in my 20s when I kind of wasn't watching a lot of wrestling, because I was very like pretentious, like fine art. I was totally, and I studied theater here in Toronto. I have a degree in performing arts, and I'm working towards a BFA and perhaps one day a PhD in theater. So I'm like a total theater nerd. Um, but once I started, probably about 5 years before the pandemic, I was really heavily involved in the indie scene in Toronto. I was going to all the things like Smash. I was going to Greek Town shows. I was going to Destiny shows when I could. Impact, Ring of Honor comes, I'm there. I was seeing pretty much every show you could leading up to the pandemic. And every time I was like, damn it, I should be up there. God, like I could feel myself just wanting to get out of the seat. I felt like I missed, because I work now more in film as an actor, but I miss so much the audience, and the audience and the fan in the world of professional wrestling is such an incredible energy. And like a long-winded answer, my love of wrestling came again from not having it withheld from me, and it comes from the fact that I absolutely 100% love live performance, especially when it's mixed in with film. And the fight, there's just something about the extremeness of it all, like the over the, like Ric Flair. I love that he's just so big. Everything is just the greatest costumes. And then to go back to my childhood of being brought up with fashion, wow, like the style of wrestling, the styles, the outfits, the costumes, the characters, the gimmicks, that is just wow to me. I don't know how to explain it. It's constantly beyond entertaining, because I don't see that anywhere else. There's no other sport. I mean, I was also a figure skater as a child, which I would also say is like kind of theater disguised as a sport, where I was a very athletic child. I was competitive figure skater, so I have 2 golds and a bronze. But just something about sport, the rare sports, I don't even know what they are. We have professional wrestling, I guess maybe figure skating, where you have these wild over the top costumes, and it's a performance as well. And I I don't know. I think it's because I don't know, and that it's just endlessly fascinating to me that I want to do it. I don't think it's interesting to dive into things that you well, or I know everything about it. I know a lot about wrestling. I do. I could talk about it all day, but still there's so much to learn. Like you said, there's so many stories in Darkside you never heard before, you didn't know about. It's like a mythology. There's endless characters, endless storylines, endless things to learn. I love it. And I love the community as well. So that's another reason why I love professional wrestling, because the community is amazing. Amazing. I'm going to stop talking now.
Hey, we don't mind. We love a good story. We love, everybody has their own stories of how they started. We've had people that have actually told us that they didn't start off as a kid. They started off as a grown person watching it, and then all of a sudden somebody told them, "Hey, you should get into wrestling," and lo and behold, they're there. So everybody's story is different. That's what we're here for. So we don't mind you talking and whatnot. This is your spotlight. But
Yeah, oh, and
and I
sorry to
and,
interrupt, but
and I mean that with 100% sincerity.
just to go back, yeah, in 2018, I did start to train with Rip, who is a teacher in Hamilton, Ontario. And then I was supposed to end up training with Tyson Dukes, who is located in London, Ontario. And then pandemic hit, but no teacher ever was going to ever train me to be a wrestler. That was never, I don't know. I love wrestlers and I love wrestling, but my essence is I was always to be the management, always to be the mouthpiece on the mic. I absolutely do not want to destroy my body. So that's the other thing, is when I did really start in that like 5 years before the pandemic, really heavily being like, wow, like, no, this is really what I want to focus on. I never ever was trying to be the wrestler. No. So that was another interesting, like, it's just, I just feel like I am a little bit of the odd one who that wasn't my main goal. So here I am.
No, there's nothing wrong with. I always say there are many parts of wrestling, thankfully that you can get involved into, and every part is important to keep to keep the wheel, as I call it, the wheel of professional wrestling going. Because not every wrestler, and I'm sure you've seen it, Rob. I know you've seen it. I've been watching I'm an old man. I started watching wrestling since 1990,
That's
and
awesome.
everybody is not good. Everybody is not great on the mic. Everybody does not have the skills of a CM Punk or a Cody Rhodes or Miz or The Rock. There are some people that need somebody to talk for them. Lo and behold, enter the pro wrestling manager, like you. You're a very important part. And that's why we do this here, because we also interview wrestlers, because we also interview managers, because they're an important part. I mean, if you'd interview a Jimmy Hart or a Grand Wizard, God rest his soul, or who's another popular manager? Bobby the Brain Heenan, R.I.P. to him.
JJ Dillon.
JJ Dillon is still alive and well. He's still with us. Then why not a Miss
right down
Lulu?
the road from me.
I feel like when I think of iconic,
why not a Miss Lulu?
Yeah, I feel like an iconic manager, the first words that come to mind is Paul Bearer. I don't see anything like this today. I don't see any amazing iconic management position, and I'm really wanting to bring that back. I'm all about the Attitude Era. If you follow me on social media, you will see that right away. And the Sables, the Sunnies, the Francines, the women, Miss Elizabeth, where are they today? I mean, on the Double or Nothing, I just saw Karen Jarrett, and I think she did the best part of the whole pay-per-view, in my opinion. I think she was great. She brought that energy. I'm missing this energy. I'm missing these really fleshed out, really exciting managers, and I just don't know that that's happening right now. So that's another push for why I want it so badly. I want to bring that energy back. I miss it.
Well, right now you have WWE has two great managers, if in my opinion. You have Paul Heyman, who is not as consistent, in my opinion, as Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jimmy Hart and Mr. Fuji was, because they had multiple guys that were under their watch, that were under their management, at one time, but they, Paul Heyman, whoever he manages, ends up bringing home gold. He's done with Brock Lesnar, Big Show, Ryback. He's now doing it with Roman Reigns. So
True. Actually,
in a sense,
I
he's keeping it alive.
I think when
And also, not to
I was just gonna say Lana when she was managing
yeah,
Rusev. I think that was really cool. But I mean, Paul Heyman and Jimmy Hart, these are like from the era I'm talking about. I'm like present, brand new, like new 2023, like who are not from the 90s. I don't know who comes to mind right away. Although I do think that when Lana was doing it. What's that?
Does MVP count?
I guess
MVP.
Yes.
He was the manager of the Hurt Business.
I just
totally, it's a bit of a lost art. To me, okay, my thing is it's a bit of a lost art in WWE. Not so much AEW, but it's kind of a lost art in WWE. AEW has matches, but they're like, okay, they don't have that presence like the matches we grew up watching. So
that's what I think.
It's a lost art because in the indies they definitely have matches, but it's a lost art in WWE. And hopefully they start bringing that back because certain things, certain things are it's always certain things are good for I guess change, for lack of a better expression. It's there's certain things that you need to get rid of and certain things you just don't in pro wrestling, and managing is definitely one thing you don't want to get rid of. You definitely need that there.
I think there's other reasons why though, because of feminism and the way that we kind of pushed out these, Sable leaving WWE talking about sexual harassment. There's a lot of reasons why this particular female valet position disappeared. But I think it should come back because I want exactly that, but I want the women to be in control. I am going to, this idea of like, well, the women were being sexually objectified and exploited by the promotion, by the men, by Vince McMahon. It's like, no, I'm going to sexually objectify and exploit myself. Thank you. I'm in charge of this image. I'm in charge of what I'm doing here. And yeah, honestly, I've talked to Super Kicked about they're down, but we might bring back the bikini matches. Like, let's go. I'm here for it. I'm 100% feminist saying that we need to hurl this hyper feminine energy right back into the face of the patriarchy. And and to me, that is Sable. That is Sunny. That is Stacy Keibler. I want that. That's awesome. We need that back. And I don't view it as women being exploited or sexually objectified. I think it's badass. I think it's awesome. So that's what I want. I don't think that, because I think it's great that the WWE and wrestling like pushed women up as wrestlers, but I still want the Sable back.
Well, hopefully they end up bringing them back. They end up bringing the female manager back and everything. I do miss it. I mean, I missed watching the days of Sensation. I do miss watching the days of Sensational Sherry and Miss Elizabeth and even Sunny managing multiple tag teams as well too. So I do miss that. Hopefully they do bring it back eventually. I think they're trying to do it. They're kind of doing a thing with is it what's her, Rob? You probably know the woman. Is it Mackenzie? No, it's not Mackenzie Mitchell. She's with Otis and Otis and Chad Gable. I don't know what her name is, but they're trying to do something with her. So maybe we'll see something come out of that.
I think they should just choose me, and I'll do it.
Hey, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. If I were you, if I were in your position, we all do things differently. But if I were in your position, I would be telling numerous promotions. I would be sending my application to like Wham, AEW, WWE, Impact, Ring of Honor. Hey, I just did I'm in the business. You know, I'm a manager. I just acted as, I just played Tammy Lynn Sytch. Let me in.
Yes, yes.
That's what I would do.
I am still very loyal to my Super Kicked fam because they're so amazing. And I'm sure they'd be happy to see me thrive at other
My bad.
positions. But no, 100% yes. Like I would love to work for the WWE. I mean, yes. And I'm really shout out to Jade from Impact. Congratulations, because I love seeing women getting in these, leading broadcasting roles, which is another thing. I mean, I never thought I would be doing, but I'm currently a ring announcer and I love it. But also, I'm currently trying to study more of UFC fights and just study more of what it is to be the ring announcer, because I'm also very excited about that position as well. So, but I also like the drama. So the number one goal is to be an excellent manager to a champion, because I will not be managing less than.
There you go. Hey, there's a standard.
Yeah.
So,
oh, sorry.
I was gonna ask you. So, with Super Kick now, like, how did your journey go from Miss Lulu, the wrestling fan, to now Miss Lulu, ring announcer and valet for Super Kicked?
It's kind of like a Stacy Keibler story, from going from fan to like the super fan valet. Well, here's the thing. Darkside of the Ring. I met Chris, who runs Super Kicked, on Darkside of the Ring. He plays Shawn Michaels, HBK, and he played Shawn Michaels in my episode, and he's played HBK for like literally every episode that features him. So Marty Jannetty episode, stay tuned. You will be seeing Chris, aka the half-baked kid, in the Marty Jannetty episode as Shawn Michaels. We met on set because of our episode, and he saw my work and we were talking, and he saw how passionate I was, and he invited me to do a show with them, and here I am. I'm still here. We're booked for the rest of the year. I'm doing their shows. So it went well. Let's just say the first show went well, and our next show is June 16th. So not this Friday, but the next Friday. And I think it's going to get a little bit more exciting, because I have currently started a feud with a manager from Super Kicked. So Johnny the One, get ready for Friday. But yeah, that's how I started with Super Kicked. I actually used to go to pretty much any show of theirs I could, and I knew the wrestlers. I was friends with some of the wrestlers, but it was through my work on Darkside where they really saw what I was capable of. Because although they don't mic that show, although you're not going to, unfortunately, I don't really get to challenge my acting chops on Darkside. I wish it was a scripted series. Let's all like pray that one day Vice or someone just produces a scripted wrestling series. Not like Glow was cool, but I want one that's like with real, these characters that we're seeing in Darkside. Anyways, I was screaming my head off in that studio, because there's no way that I can act like without really doing it. So I memorized a lot of Sunny's real promos and a lot of the things she really said, and I just belted it out there. And they were like, "All right, do you want to do that at the actual show?" And I said, "Hell yeah, 100%. That's like a dream. Let's do this." So we're still doing it, and that's how I got in with Super Kicked, which is awesome, because it's another dream, to just checking things off the list this year.
That's great, and I'm glad you're checking off goals. I hope you get to check off any more and everything. And you're doing. I gotta say, you are doing just great. I'm gonna have to get that half-baked kid on our show too, just to see, just to ask him about his experience on Darkside of the Ring as well.
I just got any questions about Darkside, or did you see the Tammy and Chris episode?
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah.
I did, and it was very. My thoughts about it was like, first of all, it was well done. Y'all killed it. I believe Zach is the other guy that played Chris, right?
Yeah. Patterson.
Man, that guy is.
Very
I would not
talented.
want to work out. I would not want to work out with that guy. He'd probably kill me in the gym. But y'all did very well. I heard a lot of I heard rumblings of the story from like many years before from different people that were not personally, but like on YouTube and so on, from many people that were wrestling around era and so on. And people were saying things like, "Oh, she cheated on Chris. Chris couldn't do anything about it." Um, and or Chris didn't know about it, or he just didn't pay no mind. And then I heard that they were separated, but he was still upset about it and whatnot. And I heard a bunch of stuff, but I'm just glad that it was a story that was well told instead of just like bits and pieces. He had one set of people that pretty much brought it to light, and it pretty much like, and it wasn't even that part for them. It wasn't even that part that really got me. The part that really got me was like all his demise, Chris's demise, happened all because of a certain bump that he took that messed his leg up. And I always thought, well, man, what if he had just didn't wrestle that match? Like, what if that didn't happen? Like, he probably would have still been around today, if not wrestling and doing well. He probably would have been mentoring, the newer generation, and he
He'd been
pretty
so
much opened the door.
successful.
Yeah,
He's
and he also
like,
opened.
sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
He would have absolutely, you're 100% right. Right. And I think Jim Cornette said it himself in that episode. Candido would have been so successful. And it is really, 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 really sad story. And I don't think, I mean, yes, I think just like his own mother was like, there's a lot of, I wish if I was just there, if I could have just, if, and I think it's very unfair, and maybe it's not just like, yes, it was the surgery and the flying home immediately after, but it's also like, it's a hard life being a wrestler. He gave everything. And I think the most heartbreaking part and the most beautiful part is that when you want to talk about, because a big subject matter in this story specifically, and in many wrestling stories, unfortunately, is about substance abuse. Like, that's a big subject that is touched on, and mental health. And you hear these people who they are battling their addiction with substance abuse and forever and ever, and they can never seem to get out of it. And Chris got out of it because of his love of wrestling. That was it.
Right.
So because he loved wrestling so much, he literally got out of his addiction to somas. He's just the most beautiful. I just think he's such a beautiful, beautiful person. Everything I've ever read about Chris Candido, and I love that the episode was very much about him. I mean, not that I think they kind of should do a two-parter whenever they can legally get a hold of Tammy Sytch, but yeah, that's really dark.
So, did you ever like meet like I don't know if you did you ever get to meet Chris Candido growing up, or did you ever get to meet Tammy Lynn Sytch growing up, or any of the Candido family?
I have a couple of friends have told me that when they were little, they went to sign, that one person went to a signing where it was with Tammy and Shawn Michaels. Imagine that, sitting beside each other at a table. You're 11 years old, like that, and knowing now what they were doing. Now we know what was happening behind the scenes. And I know one of the wrestler that played Hulk Hogan in the series in real life is friends with Tammy Sytch. And he was telling me, we didn't talk about it too much, but I've known people who have met them, but no, I have never had the opportunity to, although I do speak with I've spoken with the real life Tammy Sytch since starting this project. She has talked to me. And correspondence is very slow given her situation and how touchy everything is, and lawyers being involved. But I I am in contact currently with Tammy Sytch. So I've never met her in real life, but I am talking to her right now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to meet her. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I met her 12 years ago. Was it 12? Yeah, it was 12 years ago. When I used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I live in New York now, and I got to meet her when I was living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and she was pretty cool. Like I met her, but then again, I'm the kind of person when I meet a wrestler, anybody involved in the industry, I'm very short with them. Like I'll see them. Like the only person I'd probably ever have any long conversation would be like Rob Bass over here because obviously he's part of our show. He's our co-host, but he's actually a referee as well too. But for the most part, when I meet people in wrestling, I'm normally very short. Hey, my name is Remy. I love your work. Keep up the great work, and I keep it moving. I'm very short with people. For those of you that are wrestlers out there that are trying to have that would probably, I highly doubt it, but that would probably try to have a conversation with me. I'm in and out, so don't take it any as insult. As I'm not trying to talk to you, but I'm just that fan that I say my part respectfully and I leave. But I met Sunny, and she was pretty cool. This was like I think right around the time she actually got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I took a picture with her. And unfortunately, I lost that camera with that picture, and that was it. And then yeah, and then
no.
I know it's
Damn.
crazy,
Maybe one day
but she
it'll
was
somehow show
she
up.
was yeah, she was pretty cool. And then I actually saw her again in New York because I believe she lived in New York at the time. Like this was like 10 years ago, and she was at a watch party for I think it was WB Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2013, and she was there with a friend who was also in the wrestling business, Nicoletta Ringwalker. She's a manager here in New York, and they were good friends at the time. And I took a picture with Nicoletta. I don't know why I didn't take one with Tammy. I don't know why, but I took her with Nicoletta, and I said hi to Tammy, and that was it. She was pretty. Both times I met her, she was chill. I mean, but like I said, I was pretty short with them, so I got to meet both of them. Um, but yeah, I've heard Chris Candido is pretty nice in person. Was pretty nice in person. Um, and never heard any bad things about him. But it's just sad how things happened with both of them, and um, it's just crazy.
It's yeah, even well, speaking of Zach Patterson who played Chris Candido, he was the most perfect person. Even working with him, he was so respectful, lovely, just he had the energy of I don't know. The casting on this show is wild. I mean, the Abdul the Butcher, the guy that got to play Bam Bam Bigelow. Like oh my god, tonight Megabyte Ronnie playing uh Magnum, Terry Allen, like they're all amazing. We'll try to get them all on the show for you. But and a lot of them
If,
are they're all real wrestlers
if you
because
could, I will.
oh
I'll tell
yeah,
you one thing
100%.
though. I'm not trying to instigate anything, but if I see Zach Patterson
Yeah.
versus the half baked kid,
Yeah.
and you're managing one of them, I'm gonna be front row watching that match.
That would be
I'm gonna be like
badass.
this. I'm
Oh, I think that
here.
would be great.
What's going
That would be
on?
fantastic. If we could do like a special show where we get all the people who actually played in Dark Side of the Ring to do match, like that would be amazing because they and another really beautiful thing about Dark Side of the Ring and this production, that it's supporting real wrestlers. The money from this project is going into the pockets of indie wrestlers. They're casting people in the world. This show is literally supporting the lives of real wrestlers, so that's really special. And I think they tell the story right, and like you said, it's not sugar coated. They're telling it, it's pretty harsh, and it does actually have a great effect in the real world. I mean, honestly, I think that what's my gosh, what's wrong with me right now? Andy Kaufman, I think he got into the Hall of Fame because of the Dark Side of the Ring episodes. I mean, I just recently heard that Tommy Dreamer got fired from Impact because of the Dark Side of the Ring episode where he revealed too much. And currently today, here's some drama. If we want to hear about some drama, if you go to Francine's Twitter, you're going to see a lot of drama regarding Tammy Sytch today because she did a live stream about her reactions to the Chris and Tammy episode, all very loving, and all very supportive. And I think Francine, if she's listening, you're amazing, and I love you. But I guess Tammy's horrible, awful, toxic ex is taking control of her Twitter right now, and straight up harassing Francine. It's pretty horrible. I know that she didn't really want it to become crazy public news, and here I am talking about it with you. But it's all to say that the Darkside of the Ring actually like has a huge impact in the real world. I think they do a wonderful job. Jason Eisner, Evan Husey, Andrew Appel, Keenan Lynch. These are some of the names of the people behind this show, and I just want to give them a shout out because they're doing beautiful stuff. Like even just Keenan Lynch is the director of photography, the cinematographer, and who's in charge of the colors you're seeing. All of these people are masters at what they do, and I just want to make sure everyone knows that behind the scenes of this show is a beautiful place to be. I love working on that set. The people on that set, it's just talking about wrestling all the time. Just massive fans and actual wrestlers are on that set. And another really cool thing is that Stella Margaritas, who did my hair, and she's in the hair department. She's the head of hair on the Darkside of the Ring, which is basically just a bunch of badass wigs from the 80s and 90s. It's just like wig city. In real life, Stella did Sable, so Rena Morrow at the time. She did her makeup for her. She did her makeup in 1999 for her Playboy PR tour, and now she's working on Darkside of the Ring, doing my makeup as Tammy Sytch. So this, it's just to say that this show is filled with authenticity. Every element of this show, and if you look at the show really, really deep, hard, and you want to pause it and look for the Easter eggs, you'll see that even the costumes are real vintage. They're not playing around here. And I brought in all my real vintage to the show, and they allowed me to use it in certain shots. So the shot with Tammy and HBK, Shawn Michaels, I'm wearing a real vintage Shawn Michaels hat from the 90s. So even though it's like a blur, you might not see it. Every little detail is like authentic in this show. It's really great. It's fun. And I don't know, a little bird told me that I will be back, and a little bird told me that it's going to be another leading role as another very important female in the world of wrestling, which I cannot disclose, but there's some incredibly exciting things coming up. So this isn't the end of Lulu and Darkside of the Ring. There's going to be more.
I must say that I am very although I've just met you, I am very happy for you, because one thing I like to see is people work hard and get rewarded for it. That's what we love here at Ringside Society. And I'm glad to see that you did theater, you did everything the right way, and now you're actually enjoying the fruits of your labor. And I hope many more things happen for you as well too. And I'll tell you what, if there's ever a episode, Junkyard Dog is already coming up. I'm like, damn, well, I can't do that one. But I'm kind of a big guy. If you ever need a guy for Kamala, I always say this: if you ever need a Kamala, let me know. I could. Yes. I got to gain some more weight, but I could definitely do the whole stomach padding thing. Hey, yeah. Rob would make a great Harvey Whippleman. He already has the glasses and everything. So if you ever need us, let Darkside of the Ring know. I'm just kidding, man. Let me stop.
In New York, right? You're both just in New York.
Yeah. I'm
in Delaware. I'm in the country.
He's in Delaware.
Yeah, I'm about 5 hours away from Remy.
Do you plan on coming here for Forbidden Door, or no? That's not going to happen.
It's probably not going to happen. But here's the thing: I've lived in Canada before. Mm-hmm. I lived in Scarborough for a year and a half. Lovely place. People, to me, in my opinion, people don't give Canada the credit it deserves. It is a beautiful country, and I'm not saying that because you're on our show and you're Canadian. Like, I legitimately do like Canada. As a matter of fact, the next time I land in Toronto, I'm the first thing I want to find, and I'm a weirdo. I'm a big foodie like this, and I'm a weirdo like this. I want to find the first diner, and I want me a big stack of pancakes like this with some syrup, freshly made maple syrup, because I got a feeling that y'all got some of the best maple
Oh my
syrup there
gosh.
in Canada. So
Oh,
um,
100% for sure. And yes, what a beautiful, beautiful land. And
I'm
respect to
I'm
the
not.
and respect to the indigenous community here and the native community here because this
Yeah,
is their land and it's stunning. It's a stunning, beautiful land that I definitely want to see protected and taken care of because it's a beautiful place. Yes.
and one thing I want to check out is Harborfront. You guys have a place called Harborfront. I went there one
Mhm.
time when I was a kid many moons ago, and I think I'm long overdue for another trip there. And I also want to check out the CN Tower as well. That looks pretty impressive.
It's crazy. I've never ever been inside the top of the CN Tower, and I've lived here my whole life. So if
It's
you
okay.
come, we can be tourists together.
I'll definitely take you up. And I'll tell you one thing though. It's okay. I live in Brooklyn, New York. I have never been to the Statue of Liberty. I don't think I've ever came within. I may have seen it on the Staten Island ferry going to Staten Island, but I have never been to the Statue of Liberty. It's crazy. I've also never been to. Well, I've been to the Empire State Building, but not as a tourist. I've been there as to drop off a package and then I left. So I have.
Well, I
It's
can't
okay.
wait to go do those things too.
Yeah, they say when you live in a certain place, you don't do the touristy things. Like I'm sure Rob, there's some place in Delaware that people go to, and Rob's like, "Yeah, I never been there.
The beach.
I'm good." Yeah, well, there,
Well, I go to the beach all the time, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's where everybody comes to Delaware, the beach. We got awesome
Rob
beaches.
barely even got.
yeah.
I didn't even talk to Rob this whole time, and Rob has like the
Oh yeah.
coolest posters
So here's
back
the
there.
thing.
Yeah,
He sent
I
some
wait my
pictures
turn.
to me.
Wait my turn. I'm
So here's the
polite.
thing. I'm about to turn it over to him right now, but I just gotta say, once again, congratulations on Dark Side of the Ring. Um, keep up the fantastic work y'all are doing over there. I know this season, I'm looking forward to a lot this season. I mean, yeah, Marjorie's that episode I'm looking forward to, but I want to hear about Magnum T. I always thought that he would have been the next big star. And then there's also Junkyard Dog, a man who was an idol to not just who was not just an idol to kids, but also one of the most entertaining wrestlers. I'll never forget the beatdown he put on Hardy Race at WrestleMania 3, and many other people that many other stories that y'all are bringing to light that us wrestling fans never knew about. Um, I just gotta say, y'all keep up the great work. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a lot of questions for you as well too. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet, thank you. So what's going on, Lulu? How's everything today? You said you were having a great day in Canada. It's all sunny out, feeling nice.
Yes, it's the best day. It's Dark Side of the Ring day because that's what Tuesdays
Mm,
are now.
yeah,
That's what they are. And yeah, it's is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday today. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
yep,
my
yeah.
whole entire week has just been a total 100% blur between
Mm,
I've just been I again, speaking of Dark Side, I was on set almost every day last week. They just wrapped season 4 on Saturday, and yeah, this is like one of my first days off in a minute. So I'm celebrating it by hanging out with really cool people and talking about wrestling.
I appreciate that. I'm glad you took time out your busy schedule to chat with us and stuff. That's awesome.
I'm
Now, I
so
wanted to
grateful.
ask, I did want to ask before I got into it. Are you getting the smoke from over there in Canada? Because we had that down here in Delaware. Like there were
Yes,
some wildfires, and I think it was in Nova Scotia, and it like blew all the way down here like a few days ago. It was like hazy over here.
it's
Everybody's like,
crazy.
"What in the world? Did you get it
Yes,
too?"
today, yes. We have a
Oh,
huge warning today. I was out, yeah, I was getting some physiotherapy done today and I was at some appointments and I'm smelling where I'm like, it smells like a campfire everywhere. It smells like a fire in my neighborhood. It smells like a fire all the way over at my physiotherapist's office. This can't be, this can't have just been local. And then we read it's the fires in Quebec, and that's crazy. I've never experienced that living here in Toronto. It's kind of it's scary. It's abnormal the amount of fires that are happening in Canada right now. Because yeah, they were happening in the East Coast, and now like no, 100%. There's a lot of people are staying inside today because of it.
mm,
It's serious. air can like an air, the air is not okay.
Yeah.
It's a big warning today. Yeah. So that's wild that it made it down there to you guys too.
Yeah. The
That's
one
the
because I watched
concern.
the Trailer Park
Super
Boys and they
concern.
were in Nova Scotia, and I was like, it might be them, causing things, but I was like, oh, yeah, it's the wrong kind of trees that are burning.
See, oh my god. Oh my god.
I,
Dude, it's
try,
so
I
funny.
mean, I threw a little joke in there.
That's like it's a pretty serious and scary thing, and I can't believe you brought it up because I didn't imagine it would have affected you, but it's affecting you, which is that's really
Yeah,
scary. But
yeah,
yeah,
not the
I
one
also love
that's going on
smoking the
now,
other
but
kind of trees.
yeah. Yeah. It's all
Yeah.
good. Yeah, speaking of, I've actually had like fans come up to me at shows, during like intermission, but here I'm like, man, this stuff stinks. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go back in the locker room with this. Hold on, I appreciate it, but
Luckily,
gosh,
luckily weed is legal here, and I feel like it should be legal everywhere. But yeah, I
it's
do
legal here in my
appreciate
state.
I appreciate marijuana. I don't drink. I'm not a drinker, but that's
I don't
my
drink either.
thing. Oh yeah, see, that's awesome. I'm loving the sober curiosity and just like more and more people wanting to know what that is. And I think that's awesome. I mean, I personally stopped drinking as just a 1 month challenge for myself in February of 2022. And then it just became like a total life decision. I've never had so many awesome, great, good, positive things happen in a year than I did in this past year. So that's my little, if you're thinking about it and you maybe want to try out what it is to cut out alcohol, I recommend it. It's fantastic. But yeah, I do
Yes.
appreciate marijuana.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with
Besides grass.
cutting out the
Mhm.
alcohol or whatever. Yeah, I actually tell people like, if I'm out or whatever, I don't drink. They'll look at me like,
I know it's crazy. It's like
excuse me. I'm like, what?
it's, it's the one
You
drug
you
where
don't have
people
to
think
smoke it.
you're crazy.
You can eat it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. Yeah, it's such an
You can eat
interesting
marijuana too.
Oh yeah, those
totally.
are
You can
awesome.
drink
Yeah.
marijuana too. It's an interesting one where it's like if you tell people you don't drink, it's like the one drug where people are like, "What?" Like, no, it's
hmm
actually like there's literally nothing positive about there's no studies. Like the whole like half a glass of wine or a glass of wine a day is good for your heart is like no, like top scientists have destroyed this theory. It's a myth. It's like anyways, that's a whole nother rant. But um
Yeah. I get it. Yeah, because see, alcohol. Yeah, I've watched
not
it.
into it.
I'm 41 years old, and I've watched it destroy many a person's life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know people that when they drive in their car, they have to blow in the tube. Every like
Mhm.
5 minutes. Just to keep the car going and all. Like, it has to be 0 0. Like, you can't do mouthwash. Can't do anything. It's like, oh yeah, just yeah.
I mean, actually, I was saying, oh man, that's another conversation. It's actually still pretty topical and it's a current conversation. Speaking of Tammy Sytch, because that's precisely what's happened. And not that I ever in my life would ever excuse, condone, or support in any manner somebody doing something that's causing harm to themselves and or others. But I do also have a lot of compassion from like I'm a huge mental health an advocate, and I'm a huge advocate for sobriety and those trying to fight alcoholism because I have firsthand experience with a loved one who battles with alcoholism, and it's a really serious. Like I personally think that they're not themselves under the influence. Like it flips something in the brain, especially when it's combined with an unresolved or unhealed trauma, like a complex trauma from your youth. That was definitely the case, I believe, in my personal opinion with Tammy Sytch, is the unresolved trauma of her father passing, who was a huge figure in her life that we did not touch on in this episode, which is why I believe that Tammy deserves her own episode, because the first half of Tammy Sytch is very amazing and interesting, and last half is really upsetting. And I still believe that people can change it. But it's the story like Chris Candido. You have to find something you love. You have to find something that matters the most for yourself, and not everyone can do that, right? It requires incredible strength, and that's what we saw with Chris Candido. But yeah, I don't think that um, people owe themselves when if they're have a substance abuse issue and they're under the influence. That's much more complicated than, oh, they're just a shitty person, they are
Yeah.
making it's much more complicated than that. I think addiction is something that I would like to see more support in the health world. I'd like more accessible help and support for that. I think that's a really important. And I love that Darkside of the Ring ended the episode with a screen that did talk about that, because the non-existent healthcare system in the States, like, first of all, you just need healthcare, period. But in Canada, I still would like to see, even though we have a healthcare program, I would like to see psychotherapy for trauma and addiction, like support for people with addiction. I want to see that a part of the system and more normalize, something that, you know, you're not a crazy person because you go to therapy, and you're not a weak person because you go to rehab. In fact, you're a badass. You're amazing. You're like doing what no one else is. You know, you're a hero, in my opinion. People who are battling, you're trying to change habits and like get out of their generational trauma or battle any kind of substance abuse, like, you're literally a superhero and you're super cool. I just want to make sure everyone knows that you are so cool if you go to therapy, and so cool if you're trying to be a better person in any small way. But yeah, if you don't, it hits a point too where it's like, I don't know what it takes for a person to want to change. You'd think by now Tammy would want to, but again, not really accessible healthcare, and the WWE stopped paying for her rehab at a certain point. So I don't know how people are supposed to do better when they don't really have the tools to do better.
Yeah.
And she's not really like, you know, anyways, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. You know, I mean, because I know people that are addicted and stuff like drinking or whatever. Like when I you know, in my 20s or something, I go out, you know, I have a couple beers or something, be like, yeah, I'm good for a night, you know. But I know people that, oh, I'm up all night, you know, pound, you know, they can't stop, you know. It's like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that. Yeah,
Talk about.
because when you quit that, you know, I mean, you're not just quitting for like a week, a month, or whatever. It's like the rest of your life, you know. I mean, you know, 20, 30, 40, 80 years, something like that. Yeah, for the rest of your life, you're a badass if you can do that. You know?
The thing is, like,
Woo.
it's not that I can't do something. I can't drink. Like, I could do it right now. I choose not to because I literally love life more when I am present in it, and I understand there's a lot of hurt and broken people out there who don't feel that they can face life, or that they aren't able to do it, and so they want to numb themselves. And I hope that more people can find their power and belief in themselves, because it is possible. It's amazing what's possible. It's amazing what people can overcome. And anyways, to tie it back into the story, Chris Candido did do it. He actually did, and it's unfortunate that how he left us, but it's all possible to make big changes if you really want something. I'm going to stop talking, and maybe you have other questions for me.
No, it's fine. No, this is your time, you know. I mean, you can tell you to say whatever you want, you know. I mean, it's all on you, you know. I mean, you do whatever you want.
Well,
but I did want to ask, you know, about, you know, Darkside.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say those things do matter a lot to me, as a mental health and addiction, and anyone who is a survivor of childhood violence or trauma. Like, I think you're a hero. That's all I will say about that right now.
That's right. I'm with you on that. You know, I mean, yeah. If you ever need help, I don't know the number on hand, but yeah, you can definitely, you know, go to their websites or whatever. You know, suicide hotline, trauma hotline, addiction, you know, hotline or whatever. Find them. I don't have them offhand, but yeah, definitely. So I wanted to ask, you know, when you got to Darkside the Ring and stuff, like how long are you there filming? Is it like, you know, 8, 10, 12-hour day? You know, is it like, you know, like just like an acting job? You know what I mean? Hit your marks and do the same thing every take. You know what I mean? Is it pretty much, you know, the same thing like that? You know, is it just, you know, crazy going on there?
Film is certainly not as glamorous as people would like to believe, unless you're like on, you know, multi-million, I don't know, unless you're who, I don't know, A-lister, but
or working on Magnum PI,
no, but honestly,
something
even
in
then,
Hawaii.
A-listers, it's hard work. I shouldn't even say that. Like, even if you have a fancy trailer, it's still really, really hard work.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, basically 12-hour days. I mean, the people, like the directors, they're there at 7 a.m. And
Mhm.
that's not even that crazy. It can be earlier in the film world. Luckily, we didn't have to do any overnights. It's all in the day. We shoot it all in studio. The magic is made in like a black box, and it's amazing what what they make possible inside. Like they did the whole car crash that you're going to see tonight inside of a
Oh, wow.
studio. It's amazing what's possible. But yeah, the people working are there for pretty much a 12-hour day, which is not even a lot. Again, like 16-hour days in film, but between traveling there and traveling home, and then all the prep work that you have to do for the next day, these people are putting in like 15-hour days at least. Myself on set, I guess I was there on average when I was shooting the Chris and Tammy episode. I would be there for like 7:30 a.m. in the chair for hair and makeup, and I'd probably be there until about 6 or 7. So yeah, there's a couple of
Oh,
days there where
okay.
I might got to go a little bit earlier, but um, you're doing pretty much a whole day. And some of the days they're not just shooting one episode; they're shooting two at a
Mhm.
time. So I got to see a lot of the behind the scenes of the Magnum episode that's happening tonight at 10 p.m.
Mhm.
Because when I wasn't shooting, like let's say they're shooting the Magnum episode, I didn't just sit in my, the green room, and I didn't just I was like, hey guys, can I put a mask on and come in? And because they're still pretty strict with masks on set, but can
Okay.
I please just come and watch? And so whenever I wasn't shooting, I'd just be there just watching because I was fascinated by the entire production. Um, but yeah, they're long days. They're pretty long. They're not as long as some people in film, but because we don't actually have to do words. That's one
Yeah.
thing that nobody had to mic me up. That's a whole other department that we didn't have to deal with on this. But they're not, yeah, they're I would have to be there at like 7:30 in the morning, and then we would go until the evening. Yeah.
Nice. Now, how many days does it take to film an episode? Like how many? Like when you did the Sunny episode or whatever. Like how many days were you there? Was it like like a week, a couple days? Just doing your thing.
They shot an episode over the course of 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And so they're amazing. Like they will what they shot. They shoot things with 7 weeks before it's gonna be an episode for you. It's kind of crazy how TV works. Like,
Mhm.
we shot this. So they do it over the course of a couple weeks, and for Tammy, I probably did four days or 5 days. We
Okay.
do it like you just they cram it all. Like when I am there for a day, yeah, they do a lot in a day. But again, it's because there's not all this script and acting and talking. We can bust through some of the shots pretty fast,
Mhm.
especially when you're dealing with such talent. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm actually. I'm pretending. But no, if you have the right people and they have the best crew, they whip through shots pretty efficiently. They're on top of their stuff there. And again, things in film, like a small minute on film, does take a lot of work. I'm not, when I say quick,
Yeah.
it's not quick. It's not quick. It's actually
Mhm.
crazy how much time we spent on like what ends up being a tiny, tiny quick shot. Like, even if it was just the scene where we did the high school scene where Tammy and Chris were driving home or after the prom. I don't just
Okay.
that
Yeah.
we're driving off in this white car. That was like hours. We had that car for like the whole day, and it was a quick shot. But yeah,
Mhm.
that took at least like an hour to shoot that just
Oh, wow.
alone,
Yes.
and it was a 2 second like just
Yeah.
all you saw was a clip of me driving away. There was a bunch. a bunch of shots. Actually, I haven't even released the shots of. There's a lot of photos from set that haven't been released yet, and slowly over time you'll get to see them. But you'll get. Oh man, you can't even see it on my phone. You can't see it. This is going to be so bad. But yeah, that's me and the car. But
Okay.
the, to answer your question, it's quicker than I feel sometimes, but also like way longer. Because yeah, that one quick shot could have taken us an hour just alone, at least to get.
That's right. That's right.
But it's fun. We're
Yeah,
working with like
it
the
seems like
best
it'd be fun.
professionals, so oh my god, I have a blast. Like I had a blast. I even on my fridge I have one of the little gold confetti stars that
Hmm.
on the prom they exploded
Okay.
the room with confetti, and it
Oh,
was
that's pretty
all in my
cool.
hair after, and I have one piece over there. But all the details, you might even just see like the tiniest glimmer, like the little fleck in the on screen, but the production behind was huge. Like there was the room exploded in confetti, and in the scenes where in the slow motion scenes where you see people throwing, popcorn or whatever at
Hmm.
Tammy and Chris, the disasters that were made in order just to get these shots. Like I think I still have popcorn kernels in the bottom of my shoes from that set.
Oh Lord.
Like we call it popcorn. It's popcorn. So much popcorn is on that set. Like
Mm.
every time they have to do a scene with fans, it's like popcorn's flying everywhere. But all the they put a lot into every little scene, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And one little flash could take a long time, but it is pretty snappy. I mean, yeah, it takes over the course of 2 weeks for one episode, and I was probably there 4 solid days shooting for that Tammy part. And then, I don't know, they did a bunch of stuff with Chris on other days
Mm.
that I wasn't there. So, and they would do a bunch of other shots with other, the kids that played, young Chris Candido. I wasn't there that day. So I'm not there for every single day. So I can't really speak to how many days it took because I wasn't there for all of them.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, I love that show and stuff. And yeah, Junkyard Dog, that was my mom's favorite wrestler when she was a kid. Junkyard Dog and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. You know, what I mean, yeah, there was no tolerance for disrespect of either of those two around my mom. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, your mom's awesome. I love your mom. That's so
oh
cool.
yeah,
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 Junkyard Dog is, I don't know what number, maybe five, maybe five. I
mhm.
actually didn't get to be a part of that one, so I don't really know. I got to see a lot of the Bam Bam Bigelow episode. I got to see a lot of the Magnum one that's coming out tonight. I got to be in the Marty Jannetty episode and the Abdullah the Butcher episode. I got to see that. Oh my goodness. Drew, who
Mm.
plays Abdullah, is just wow. So yeah, I also got to partake in that episode too. But all the other ones, I it's going to be a surprise for me too. Because again, I was also a fan of the show. Just I was a fan before I got onto it, so
Mhm.
I'm also just watching as a fan tonight. But it's
Yeah.
really, really, really fun to see the behind the scenes of how they work because it's just great, great set to be on. The costume
Yeah, I'm
department's
excited for it.
crazy. Like you walk into this costume department and Sarah
Mhm.
Morden is the costume designer. Shout out to her. What a genius. Um, and Melanie Sleep does the makeup. I just want to say their names because these people are amazing. And this costume department, like there's like the Ric Flair section alone is awesome. It's just robes, like shiny glitter. You look over here on the shelf, you see some Road Warrior gear.
Yeah.
You look over here, there's like they're cutting flames for the Bam Bam Bigelow outfit. They 3D printed and designed the entire tattoo for the top of his head.
Oh
Like
wow.
now we're talking like they go into every detail. They hand paint every single tattoo is accurate. The Sarah who did the costumes for the Hulk Hogan for the episode you're going to see Hulk Hogan in, look at the pants and the shoes. Sarah, the costume designer, hand
Mhm.
painted exactly to have, because Hogan had these shoes that had his own face painted on them.
Mhm.
I've seen them in real life. They're perfectly hand painted, like exactly. And they're, again, I don't know how much you're going to see of them, but if you do pause and look, that's a hand painted shoe for the show. So this costume department is so fun. It's like if you're a wrestling fan, it's a magical world, and
Oh man.
it's a blast. Any other things you might want to know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like you were just talking about the drawing on there and stuff, man. That's got to be awesome. You know, what I mean, you're like I didn't know they did that kind of, that kind of detail because like usually when you're watching it, like when your sections and your acting are all coming on, it's like a lot, it's really dark or whatever. It's like slow motion thing. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, the
that's
detail's
awesome.
crazy. It's almost like heartbreaking how much of the detail
Hmm.
doesn't get, you don't actually get to see it. Like everything
Hmm.
is um very precise and very detailed. And I wish I could find the shoes. Well, you'll see it. But yeah, Sarah, that's her name. She's
That's
the
right.
the
Yeah,
costume queen of Darkside of the Ring.
I believe it.
And we
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a
Did you
blast.
get
They
the?
handmade. They actually gave me the Sunny outfit. I should go run
Oh,
and
okay.
find it for you right now. They gave it to me. They built it for me. They actually like they're like, all right, they took my measurements and I went off and I shot another scene and
Mhm.
whatever. And then I come back and there's this sparkly, shiny Tammy
Wow,
outfit that they literally made to fit my body.
wow.
So amazing. I wish I should just run and go get it, but I should have just put it on. Yeah, I
You,
got
you you
some
can
stuff.
run get it if you should if you
I'm
want
gonna
to.
run.
I mean, it's
You
cool.
can just
Yeah, we
look.
can we can fill in the
Rey
time.
Mysterio will entertain you. I'm gonna go get this outfit for you.
Yeah, we're good with Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is cool.
My little lucha. I'm getting
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. Because
Here it
I'm
is.
definitely yeah.
Found it.
Oh, word up, that was pretty quick.
Didn't take that long.
No,
Um,
I was thinking I was going to have to start saying peas and carrots,
no.
just to fill in the time.
So we are. This is the Tammy Sytch. One of the. This is her out. This is what the outfit they made me on Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, where's the skirt? Oh dear. I have to go get the skirt.
Oh
Oh
no.
god.
Well,
And
that's
I
pretty
have
cool. They let you keep that stuff.
well, I have to be yeah, I have to toot my own horn for a bit though because this is my actual skirt. I brought in some options for them because they're like if you have anything that we could use, like let's do it. So this was my skirt,
Hmm.
but they custom put this piece on there and Sarah was like, "Are you
Wow.
sure we can do that?" I'm like, "Yes, like do anything you want to that skirt. Like I don't care." So this was
Hmm.
the Tammy skirt and the Tammy hand built shirt. I should
Oh,
put it
sweet.
on.
Yeah. And they
Like
made
this
that
is
like right when you were like
literally
doing your thing, in between scenes, just like
yeah, in
fired the
between
sewing
scenes.
machine up and wow.
This this yeah, this whole thing was and they fixed the inside of it and everything and but this was the handmade Tammy outfit. And oh, there's the HBK hat that I wore in the scene, which is a
Oh,
real
that's pretty cool. I
Shawn
like
Michaels
that. Yeah,
hat.
that's awesome. Yeah, that is
Which
awesome.
I oh no, I'm gonna have like a hat mark on my head. But yeah, this was in the episode in the party
Mm,
scene. I lean back and I'm
yeah.
laying on Shawn Michaels' lap and we're smoking a horribly disgusting fake cigarette. The
Oh.
amount of smoke that you inhale on that set, there's a lot of smoke when they're just like fogging out the room to give it this really dreamy
Hmm.
feel. And then the fake, like, how many, fake cigarettes do we have to smoke in this series? Because the wrestlers are all just, almost every episode has some sort of like drug party scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of smoke on that set. But yeah, this is the actual Tammy outfit that they had me do for her promo shot when she's in the camera.
Hmm.
Anyways, it was really fun. But yeah,
That's pretty
Dark
awesome.
Side of the Ring outfit.
Especially I was gonna say, especially being into fashion like yourself. I mean, you're like, wow, you all got that done real quick. Y'all doing your thing.
God, oh my god, I was so happy. Like, there's these really amazing pants. I just wore them on the last Super Kick show as the ring announcer. These amazing black and white pants that the costume department fit to me as well. They were my personal pants. I brought them in. I was like, guys, I could never wear these because they don't fit me. They're like, let's take your measurement. Okay, boop. We love you, Lace. That's my real name, by the way, Lacey, but everyone calls me Lulu. They're like, we'll fix it. Don't worry. And I got a lot of little fashion surprises from set. It's been really nice. They're just angels there, absolute angels. I love
that's
them.
awesome.
Honestly
So good.
speaking, Rob, I don't mean to cut you. I sincerely apologize.
There you go.
I think I tend to play online booker and the armchair booker, and I tend to come up with crazy ideas. I think you may be onto something with the hat and everything. I think you could maybe if you tweak it like certain different colors. Yeah, if you tweak that hat a certain different color, I think you may be onto something as that being your signature look. If you're interested in that, that is. I'm just saying.
100%. I want all of my looks to reference someone
I'm just
awesome
saying.
from the 90s all the time.
I mean,
I'm gonna have I'll have to
Rob
dedicate a look to Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Rob actually has his own T-shirt too. Technically, because he has a Stripe Lives Matter shirt with his fist actually going like this, and yeah, so you might be onto something with that hat. I'm just saying. I always tell people. I always tell people, like, I swear up and down I could write this stuff. Like, I'll never be a wrestler. I'll never judge a wrestler's in-ring performance. But when it comes to booking and like storylines, I will challenge anybody. Like, I could definitely like the hell out of some storylines. And I think you're onto something with the hat. I'm just saying,
Okay, good. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll think about it. I'm all about. Yeah, first of all, I'm all about, I wish I could buy all the wrestling vintage that I possibly could. It's like my eBay is just like a huge watch list of things I cannot afford right now. But whenever I want all of them. But yeah, this is a special one. And thank you for saying that. We'll see. Maybe I'll work my own Lulu version of the Shawn Michaels motor hat. This is a moto hat cap. Love it.
Yeah,
Yesterday in Toronto, just now that I'm going through things, look at all this sick stuff that I bought yesterday.
Oh,
this
sweet.
Is 1997. So they're all just like unopened, ripped like packs. This is 1997. There's a place in Toronto called the Toronto Collective, and I went there yesterday and met Sean, one of the owners, which I'm just giving them a shout out to, because if you ever come to Toronto and you go to Spadina and you go to Toronto Collective, they have the sickest, just like crazy amount of wrestling merch that's like vintage wrestling merch that you can buy. Some of it's really expensive, but some of it's pretty affordable. Like, look at these WCW packs. They're from 1991. I haven't ripped them yet. I feel like we should rip one if we have enough time. There's some 1999. No, you don't want to do it? These are 1999.
No, those are vintage.
I know, it's so good. And these are 1998. So like, we could rip it. We could rip them right now and see what's in there. And I also got these really dope heavy metal ones. I already ripped them yesterday though. But like, it's a fun place to be if you come to Toronto and you want to find some fun little treats. Toronto Collective. We could just rip
they're
one.
cards, right?
Let's rip it. Let's do it. Let's just do it right now.
They're cards, right?
Yeah, so what it is, back in 1999, WWE had all these really cool photo cards, and you'd get 6 in a pack, and you'd have a chase card that you were looking for. I only have one of the chase cards, which is unfortunate because I want all of them, but this is one of the chase cards. And I still don't have all of them. That's why it's such an amazing thing to find them in these stores. Because, like, what if I have one of the chase cards in here right now? I might.
Yeah, you might.
I would like rip it right here with you if you want. But
I'm missing a few. In there?
Oh my god. Yeah, they do have. They had some that had the gum and tattoos in it. Like, oh my god.
Okay.
If I ever go to, like, let's say there's a fancy Darkside, the next opening or like party, I will straight up go buy one of those just to get the tattoo, just to like wear it to the opening.
That's right.
I don't have any tattoos, but I would definitely wear 1990s vintage wrestling tattoos. Yes, those are the
Yeah,
tattoos
ain't
I
nothing
will
wrong with
rock.
that. I'm all for it. I'm all for vintage wrestling tattoos. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
But yeah, this is fun. I collected so many that I ended up meeting them. I met Gangrel last month or some. He came to Toronto, so I got him to sign it. But do you want to?
Hey, I'm all
Do we
for
have
it.
enough
You know,
time?
do your thing. Remy's the
Do we
one.
have
You know,
enough
he might
time?
cry. He
Well,
might get
yeah,
upset.
yeah, yeah.
This is from
Okay. Okay.
No,
1999.
no,
We'll
no,
just
no.
do this one. Let's see what's inside of it. Let's go for it.
Yeah,
What are
might be
those,
really
like
cool.
cards or something?
Yeah,
Drum roll.
they're photo cards. So they're not trading cards. We're just
Yeah,
gonna see what we got in this pack.
you could
Okay.
always you could always put them in like a card like protector thing, and
And you got a chase card.
No, that's why I have no. But I got one that I don't have. I've never had before. I got a D'Lo Brown.
Ooh,
No, I do not have this
ooh,
one, so this is exciting. Oh, I do already have this one. It's WrestleMania 3, March 29th, 1987 in Michigan.
ooh. I was a
That's
baby
pretty cool.
then.
Oh, sick.
Hey, I'm
I
showing my age. I should have
I
done that.
have this one already, but it's really, really cool. Obviously, I can't get enough Stone Cold. I can't get enough Stone Cold. Um, oh man, I'm starting to get lots of doubles because I have like almost all of them. I do have this one. It's 1996, March 31st, Gold Dust versus Roddy Piper.
oh, nice.
Hollywood backlot
1996.
brawl.
Oh, cool. Man, I already have this one too. It's okay, but it's Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant in 1988. And
Nice.
then this one I actually don't think I have. Sick. It's The Undertaker and Jake the Snake Roberts. It's WrestleMania
Ooh,
8, 1992. Oh, can you see it?
okay, nice.
Sick. I feel like I don't have this one. And I didn't have the D'Lo Brown. So I feel like these are two new ones. I'm really excited right now, everyone.
That's
Thank you for
awesome.
ripping
That's
this pack
awesome.
with me.
There you go. There you go. I
So
was excited. I
happy.
wanted to see what you get. I was hoping you get something really
Hey,
awesome. You
thanks
know
for
what I mean?
sharing that
You
with
got
us.
two things.
It would have been dope if I got a chase card, but we'll see. Oh, look at I even have a Sable one in here. And
There you go.
there. Vince
Nice.
McMahon. Man, this is so fun. Well,
That's right.
I don't want to take up your whole entire night. Are you gonna stay? Are you gonna watch the episode of Darkside tonight?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
comes on at 10. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
watching it.
Lulu,
I am 100%
Miss Lulu,
watching
you're
it.
fine. Miss Lulu, we have had one guy. Oh, was it? Oh, it was Paige's mom that was
Yeah,
on
Mom
here
and
for
Night.
4 hours. We have had another guy by the name of Nigel Rabbit who was on here for 3 hours. You are perfectly fine.
Okay, good. I could like hang out with you guys forever. You're awesome. I was just trying to put this. Oh, we just talked about Al Snow earlier. Um, I was just trying to get. I'll put them in their spots after. I have to put them in their special spots in this binder, but I think I just got two cards that I don't have. So that's exciting. I'm pumped.
That's right. That's right. So, who are your
So
favorites?
excited.
Growing up, down in the Attitude Era. That like, are you a big Bret Hart fan? Bret Hart's your guy.
Bret Hart's amazing. I wish I could meet Bret Hart so bad. Apparently, he's going to be here this weekend in Niagara Falls for the Niagara Comic Con. I'm
Ooh,
going to try so hard to go to that because apparently Lita's going to be at it as well.
ooh, okay.
So, but yeah, for me, I feel like there's something about Stone Cold that I can't help but just love the most all the time. I think I also, because I like to just dress like him in real life. Like I love like a
There
good,
you go.
you know, like I love his style. I love just some jeans and a leather vest and a hat. Um, my favorite, I, I guess, I guess I have to say it's usually Stone Cold. That's probably the person I have the most merch of. Um, but for to really answer that question, not just for growing up, I would say for female wrestlers or for wrestlers in general, I've always been Bull Nakano has been my favorite, and
Ooh, yes,
that's not even
yes.
Western. Like I think Bull Nakano is a badass. I think Megumi Kudo is a
Hmm.
badass, and I talk about them a lot because I didn't see that happening in
Mhm.
the WWE. Of course, we got to see Bill Nakano come, and she ended up doing WWE. But I think that for female wrestlers, she was kind of my favorite. Her and Medusa.
Yes.
And but then again, just because of my personality, I really, really just I love Stacy Keibler and I love Sable and I love Sunny. But I think out of all of the divas, I'm most inspired. Like, see the work that Tammy Sytch did when she was in her prime. Honestly, like, who did it better? She was so good on the mic. She was so good at everything she did. It was she was crazy amazing, and she really inspires me. Her work, but Sable's style and just whole vibe is like my ultimate inspiration. Um, so those would be my favorites. What about you?
Oh yeah, back then, yeah, I was always I like Bret Hart and stuff. Also like, like Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Tad Bam Bam Bigelow was one of my favorites. I love Bam Bam, you know what I mean? Every time, in ECW, I just yell, greetings, greetings, 'cause this move, greetings from Asbury Park, just damn, just I love it.
Oh man, I'm so excited for this episode of him. It's so good. I'm so excited for everyone. But
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
I,
Bam
I
Bam
know
was
he
the
Yeah, I heard a story of him. He's like literally a hero. Like he went into a burning house and saved like a mom and her kids or whatever. You know what I mean? And like
yeah.
he burned himself up. Over like I forget like 50-60% of his body or whatever. It's like wow.
No,
Just
that's for
just
real.
driving by. Yeah, just driving by and rolled in there. And it was what was cool. He used to drive like a car and had flames on
Yeah,
it.
like the flames are so symbolic because he actually literally went
hmm
and actually saved lives in a
hmm
fire. I heard about that too. Amazing. What a
Oh
hero.
yeah. Oh, I
I
know.
just
Yeah,
recently
Bam Bam.
connected with his son on social media, who's really special, lovely, very wonderful person. And I believe, they must have talked to him in this episode. I didn't get to see all the interviews, which is another side to Dark Side of the Ring, or is like the interview team. They're like a totally different team of people who are amazing at what they do. The questions they ask, the research they put in, what they get out of the people they're interviewing. Like, have you ever seen Jim Cornette cry?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ever?
Hardly ever.
Like,
Yeah, ever. Yeah.
the interview team is not that, like, I mean, they just choose the right stories and they find the right people and they ask the right questions and they shoot it just so beautifully and they edit it so beautifully, and the archive footage that they select is stunning, and amazing. Some of it I
Like
didn't even see before. But yeah, I'm pumped for anyone who likes Bam Bam Bigelow. Yes, he was actually a hero in real life, and his episode is so good. And yes, real fire was involved. Yes, they put the real fire was in the studio.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Do they have the part with Major Payne in there? I loved him in Major Payne. I don't know if you ever seen Major Payne, but
I actually don't know if they put that part in there or not. We'll
okay,
see.
that was cool. That
But
I
yeah,
love that. I always look forward to that part. When Major Payne tells the story of the little engine they could to the little kid. I always look
so
forward to that
good.
part. Yeah.
I actually
I
think
actually
I don't know if it's in
I
there, but
think
what's that?
I briefly found his son on Batman Bigelow's son on Facebook as well too. And this was like I think before we started the podcast or like while we're doing it, and while we're in the midst of, I can't remember which year it was, but I found him on Facebook. I don't know if I added him or not, but I couldn't remember what his name was. And I was like, it's funny because now we started our own series, because we have several. This is our flagship series, but we have another one called 15 Minutes of Fandom where we interview wrestling fans as well. But we also
Oh,
started
cool.
another one called Lariats. We also have another one called Lariats and Legacies that we started, and we've had Bad News Brown's daughter on there. She told us some cool stuff. We had Big Boss Man's daughter on there too, who was very interesting when it came to like telling stories about her dad. And we also had Sergeant Slaughter's daughter, Kelly Slaughter, as well too. And the
Amazing.
stuff that they actually told us was like stuff like, for example, Kelly Slaughter told us that her dad, when he was doing his sympathizer gimmick, for his match against Hulk Hogan. People wanted to kill him, and not only did they want to kill him, she said she had to get bodyguards. They have to get bodyguards for his family because they were afraid that people would target them too. And
Yeah.
there was Frances Kuwait, who was Bad News Brown's daughter. She told us her dad actually ate snakes. He
What?
ate snake one time. And here's WWE with this whole here's WWE with this whole storyline where it's Bad News Brown is afraid of snakes and he's having a whole meal out of them. So it's like, wow, I did not know that.
What?
But
Mm.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God. Crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
I
fantastic.
found
I love that.
Paul.
I want to, that's why wrestling fans are all totally super cool people to talk to. Yes, 100%. They're also so important to the entire
Yeah,
show. So cool. I want to watch those episodes.
yeah. We we've had some of them that actually went on to become big thing that have actually end up joining the industry. Like we had one guy, the Diamond Sheik, who made the I don't know if you watch AEW, but he made a Dynamite Diamond Ring for
Oh
MJF,
no. Oh
and
no
he
way.
was a fan on our yeah, he was on our 15 minutes of fandom segment. And then he told me, "Hey, Remy, I'm gonna be training to be a wrestler at Cody Rhodes wrestling school, Nightmare Factory." I'm like, "Okay, let us know when you graduate." And he graduated. We had him on the show, and now he's doing big things. And we've had
Wow.
several people that have gone on to join the industry. So our own Rob here started off when we were our season one of Ringside Society. Rob was on here. Our other co-host Kathy, who I wish could have been here. Kathy Knight was like, "Yeah, Rob wants to be on our show for 50 minutes of fandom." So I'm like, "Okay, let's have him on." And then he said he wanted to be part of the team. I'm like, "Okay, we'll give you a chance." And he's never disappointed since. And lo and behold, now he's a referee for 1CW in Delaware. So I mean, you never know where life may take you. That's why we interview everybody. We never turn any unless you're a scumbag or a dirtbag or a really horrible person. Then we'll be like, no, we don't want you on our show. But really and truly, we interview everybody, man. Like we don't care what part because if you're not a wrestler if you're a manager, fine, we'll interview. If you're not part of the if you're not like a manager or gear maker or entrance team engineer or promoter, okay, you're a fan. Okay, we have the right place for 15 minutes of fandom. Oh, you're the son or the daughter or the nephew or the niece of a wrestler. Okay, we can put you in Lariats and Legacies. We have a place where we can put you. We never tell nobody no because you never know where somebody is gonna be. And we've had people on. We've had two wrestlers on here that only spoke Spanish, did not speak English, and we found somebody to translate so that they can get their story told to you know the international audience. I was going to say American audience, but we have people that watch us all over the world, and we have had we were able to get their stories told. So I mean, we never refuse anybody. We give everybody a shot.
My earpod just died. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's amazing. Isn't it so? It's so unfortunate how much you can miss it on the world if you just want English. I mean, I feel so guilty that I only speak one language, barely one language. I'm still learning English, but in terms of film and people and music and all, it language barrier is you're telling me that that's gonna hold you back from learning a whole world of stuff. That's crazy. That's amazing that you feature people who don't just speak English. That's fantastic because the whole entire world is just not every great story to be told, not every great everything is just in English. Like that's ridiculous to think. That's why it's so wonderful to have seen Parasite win at the Oscars, because this is another example of not every great story to be told is going to be in English, and if you can't get past some subtitles, you're missing out. You're missing out on a huge, exciting world.
Squid
That's
Game
awesome. I
on
like that.
Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that, the Squid Game on Netflix.
Oh my god,
That was so great. And they're
that
coming out with
was
season
so.
2.
Oh my god. Get ready. I'm excited. I don't have like a current show aside from Darkside of the Ring that I'm like addicted to right now. So I'm excited for that. That's exciting. But yeah, That's really beautiful, and I am really grateful to be a part of one of those many people that you have featured and interviewed and talked to on this show. And hopefully it won't be the last. But yeah, speaking of jerks, there's jerks in every industry. There's some jerk wrestlers too, and there's some good ones and some bad ones. I think
Yeah, being in the
every
business, you know, what I
industry.
mean, locker room and stuff. I've seen, you know, people, you know, there's a lot of egos, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
I gotta ask, you
speaking
know,
as a
because I've
woman,
also, oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and speaking as a woman in an industry that's heavily dominated by men, I can tell you that I do see another side of certain male uh, personalities in this business that is kind of disappointing. But then again, there are some beautiful, wonderful, wonderful people who, I mean, every single person I've ever worked with in Super Kicked has just been the most safe, wonderful, like created such a safe space. I feel so supported as a woman. I feel so in control of my creative decisions. I feel like I'm not working with people who just want to get into my pants. I feel like I'm working with people who truly support me as an artist. Getting a phone call. I should have turned that off. But yeah, and then there's some dicks, there's some jerks, and it's only a matter of time, and then they'll be weaned out. But yeah, we don't. That's the one thing about this, the world of wrestling is I want it to be it should feel like a safe space at the end of the day. I mean, it's all about fighting and violence, but at the end of the day, we don't really tolerate actual garbage happening. We want respect. There's respect. There's got to be respect behind everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because yeah, one CW where I'm at, yeah, and CCW and stuff. You know, we come together. You know,
He does that sometimes. He'll be back.
Oh, he's paw. Oh no.
He does that. He's gonna come back.
my bad. Yeah,
Here
my
we go.
bad. I got a storm going through, so I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, because like our locker room, yeah, it's safe space. You know, nobody, does anything. You know, everybody's cool. And if there is a problem, you know, promoters, you know, they don't tolerate that. They'll get you out that door. You know, what I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Like, yeah, we ain't playing that.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know how much gossip or time we can get into here, but
Honestly, if here's my thing, we're not a Howard Stern like show.
yeah.
We're not like the Breakfast Club. I mean, although Charlemagne the God is one of my inspirations in regards to like podcasting and interviewing, but if you want to talk gossipy stuff, go ahead. If not, we're cool with it. You know, we're just a chill podcast. We're not here for the dirt. Yo, what happened? Is it true this happened behind closed
Yeah,
doors? What were your
yeah,
thoughts? We're not clout chasers. We're just three fans. Matter of fact, there's actually five. Two of them actually run our Facebook group, help run our Facebook group. But we're just a group of fans that enjoy wrestling and just want to give people their shine, let people, get a chance to tell and all the while providing a safe space for them and an enjoyable experience as well. So I always tell people, like we always tell people, this is not just an interview. Yes, we're professional, but we're also fun. So if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it. If you want to talk about it, talk about it. We're not gonna, the only thing is that as long as it's not disrespecting anybody's like ethnicity or religion or sexual orientation or anything or gender, we're cool. We're cool with it. But you are free to have your own opinion on certain things, and we're a pretty chill podcast. So nobody has anything to worry about.
Well, and I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, I might as well just talk. Like, what am I going to do? Get some people who like don't like me? This conversation made me feel, reminded me of an experience that I had this year with a wrestler that I think is pretty popular, and it really grinds my gears because this guy spoke so disrespectfully and so horribly and rude to me in my DMs. And like, no, like, I'm not trying to like be cancel culture here, but Joey Janela does not respect women, and that's what I'm gonna say right now. So horrible. And I know that's some drama to bring up right now, but a few years ago, this guy like Joey Janela was in my DMs being like, come to LA, come stay at my house. Like I've posted screenshots of it on my Instagram before. This is like the jerks in the world that I can't deal with, that I don't deal with in Super Kicked, and I'm not going to deal with this. And I know some people get sucked into it and they start sleeping their way up through certain industries. But like, this is the kind of stuff I can't stand, and I don't want any of it. So this guy's like, Joey Janelle's like, come to my house and stay at my house, and he's always hearting my stuff and sending me like likes and hearts and whatever. And then earlier this year, I said he was here to do a Super Kick show. This was before I was working with Super Kick, and I was like, I'm really sorry. I think it was like January 16th or something. Like, I'm really sorry I'm not going to be at the show tonight. But like, I should totally, I had mentioned, I'm like, I should totally, you know, on a next Super Kick show, like I should totally valet or manage you. And he was so insanely rude. He laughed. He's like, what? You're a super famous like actor. Like, that's a joke. Lol. What? You think you're going to manage me? Like, and he was laughing at me, and he was like, I've already blocked him by now, but he was making fun of me he was mocking me. He was laughing at me, telling me that it was like, that it was so silly, and like, how dare I even ask such a thing? Like, who am I? And he was like, oh yeah, you're such a famous actor. And I was like, seriously? Like, it's not that I got any, like, I can't say that. What I can say is like, it felt gross to me. It's not like I got a dick pic or something, but what I got felt horrible. So that's all I'm saying. We're in gossip land right now, and that's, you know, maybe you might not care. Who cares what Lulu says? But this is an example of behind closed doors, someone in the industry who does not respect women, who does not talk to women, who is super rude. And I felt super like offended and disgusted by that encounter. And I 100% blocked this guy. And like, I actually don't ever want to work I will never work in a promotion that will feature this person. So that's one thing, because like, I need to have a safe space for myself. And you know what? I am going to be open, and I'm going to verbally, call people out, but I'm not going to lie. I have to say what it is. Like, there are certain wrestlers in this industry. I know I haven't come across a lot of them, but that's one of them where I'm like, no, like, if suddenly I'm not coming to like stay in LA and sleep with you, like all of a sudden you don't like me anymore, and now you have like, you can make fun of me. No, there are other beautiful men in this industry who would never in their lives even dare, who are so supportive, who's so lovely, and that's the people that I will work with. So if I'm working with anyone in this industry, they're going to be men and women and people who respect people, but especially women. Like, yeah, that's my story. That's what I was holding in. That's what you made me think of when we were talking about safe spaces, because I will certainly not be in an environment around that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's bad to say and people won't care, but
No, I'm with you.
personally
You need
say
to
that he doesn't respect women, and I do not support this person, and that's unfortunate because I don't want to like down.
So here's my thing.
No.
Here's my thing. If you feel that you've been slighted by somebody, speak up. I know it's not easy, but speak up, regardless of whether you're a female or a male, because there's some males that get taken advantage of too. Like TJP. Apparently, I don't care. I'm gonna call it. TJP said he got, when he was 15 years old, he got taken advantage of by women. Unfortunately, people are, and I'm not trying to make this about men too, but because for the most part, from what I've seen, it's mostly women that are slighted by men.
Certainly can go both ways. 100%.
You should always speak up regardless, and I'm glad that you're speaking up. Let me tell you something. I know I'm just a fan, and people I'm probably gonna get called a mark. They're probably gonna, call me all sorts of names because, oh, look at this fan podcaster Mark who is speaking on an industry he's not part of. But wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if you're in the industry or not. Wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. And I mean, I felt for y'all females when y'all actually had the whole speaking out movement that outed several people. I actually wanted to pretty much fight those people because I probably would have got my butt kicked in like a couple seconds because they're obviously wrestlers. But I mean, at the same time, you know, I felt like fighting them because I mean, I have a mother. I have several. You know, I have two little sisters. Not even two. I have several sisters. I have female cousins that I care about, and I mean, that could have been one of them in that situation. You know, so you know, I felt for y'all. You know, and you know, if you feel like you've been slighted, and this goes to y'all too out there. You know, whether you're male or female. You know, if you feel that somebody has slighted you, speak up about it. You know, don't take no damn payoff. But oh, I'm gonna give you how much because eventually the money's gonna run out, and all
Yeah,
that you'll have is you.
I just had to bring it up because I, as a woman, like, yeah, I mean, I literally have literal screenshots right here of stupid Joey Janela hearting all of my stuff, like liking all of my stuff, giving me like emojis with like tongue emoji, like all these really sexually provocative, like hard eyes and everything, like years ago. This one's from 2021, actually. And then earlier this year, he's like, you sound like a baby, you sour little child, you're acting like a legit baby. I'm sorry I haven't followed TMZ lately to see your famous hot actress model self. Like I'm sure there was a story about it there. Like he was literally just like ripping me apart, and I don't think that's okay. It's not a gimmick, it's not cool. Like men who speak to what, like, I just felt so disrespected. Like no actual strong, cool man is going to talk to a woman like that, especially a woman who is just like, hey, like, would you like to, you know, someone who's new in the industry too. Like I'm like self-conscious because I'm new, and like, let's face it, everyone had their first day somewhere. Everybody's new somewhere. And I'm like, hey, I'm new. I'd love to, maybe you're not going to valet me. Maybe that's silly of me to ask, but the fact that you took that as an opportunity to call me a baby and rip me apart, and I'm like, I just want people to know, because I just feel like, doesn't that matter? Like this, I think the safety and well-being of people in this industry, the fact that I was just a new person just trying, and like, I don't know. So I don't like that vibe. That really bothers me, but I just also can say that there are people in this world who are so nice and so supportive, and we're like, yes, Lulu, let's go. Let's make things happen. Let's do things. We support you. And they didn't make fun of me because I was trying. Like that's what he did. He made fun of me. And it was because he knew that I wasn't going to go to LA and stay at his house. Like this is the kind of people that, I'm sorry, I'm calling you out now, and that's how it is, because I think that's really gross, and I feel bad for the women who get trapped into that and are now like.
But the thing I don't get, I'm from the old school of sorts. You know, what happened to the days of, you know what, fudge it. I'm 40 years old, so I'm from the days where what happened to the days where, okay, you're just manned up. If you like somebody, be like, okay, hey, would you like to grab a coffee someday? I don't know what the situation. Be like, if I'm not a pickup line guy. I leave that for the young boys like Rob and them, man. Them guys with the pickup lines and whatnot. What? Oh, if I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd make you and I and all. I leave that to guys like Rob. Rob, he's the Casanova.
Cute. I would be like, wow, you're cute if you said that.
I'm the kind of guy that's like, I can't track it. It would be awkward. But what happened to the times where you go up to a lady and be like, hey, look, would you like to grab some coffee someday? I don't know what your situation is. I don't know if you have a boyfriend. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you have a boyfriend. Would you like to grab some coffee someday? You know, I'm sorry, people. I'm a lame guy. I don't have no special pizzazz to when I talk. Would you like to grab some coffee sometime? You know, would you like to go for a walk in the park at daylight where there's other people? You know,
welcome to the ringside society where you get pro dating tips.
So it's not even that. Just
true, I hear you.
Just be mannerly and be respectful. If she says no, okay, no means no. You're not gonna turn into salt. You're not gonna die. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been rejected. Shoot, man, Steve Urkel ain't got nothing on me. But guess what? I was never disrespectful about it. You know, I said, okay, all the best. Hey, you want to go out? I got a boyfriend. Okay, hey, he's a lucky man. I wish y'all all the best.
You're an
I keep it
angel.
moving.
See,
You
real
know,
talk, that's that for real talk. If you do want to actually talk about that's attractive. Respect is the most attractive.
yeah.
Respect
If she says,
and not playing games, just being like, I think you're really interesting. I'd like to get to know you more. Oh, okay. I don't want to disrespect anyone else, so I kindly accept the rejection. We're like, that's hot. That's nice.
exactly,
You could lose out on people. Like, you're gonna lose out on a whole relationship with a person just because you can't sleep with them. Like, what? Do you even want to support them as a person anymore? Like, real talk,
like
that's good.
I'm like, okay, if she says yes, okay, are you busy tonight? I mean, just nothing too crazy. Hey, can we get some Starbucks coffee? Nothing too crazy. You know, if you don't like the vibe, it's then it is what it is.
Or
You
like a
know,
show.
there's
Invite her
no
to a
second
reality
there.
show. Or them, or they, or him.
You know,
I guess.
yeah.
I
I
think that's
mean,
thank
I
you for
don't, I
being
don't,
thank you for being an example of what I'd like to see more of in the world. Am I
I
allowed
don't
to
get
smoke this
this.
joint?
What would you say?
Am I allowed to smoke this joint since I'm in Canada and it's legal?
Yeah, have at it. I don't care.
Oh,
I don't.
nice.
I'm 420 friendly, so I don't care. I don't smoke, but I don't mind. But my thing is man, it's like, I just don't get like this new generation of men like that can't take rejection. Like you have to do these corny methods of talking to females. You're verbally assaulting them when they say no. You might even physically assault them. You're trying to sexually assault them. You know,
I mean,
and I'm sorry for those of you that think I'm sorry for those of you that are listening and watching and saying, yo, Remy's getting into his feelings, but this stuff just really grinds my gears. And it's like, guys, just be gentlemen, be men. Real men are respectful and they have a certain way they operate.
yes.
Yes, so you may not get her get to talk to hang out with this one. Okay, there's many others that will talk to you. I don't get it. Like,
Not
gosh,
everyone. Honestly, not everyone's gonna
I'm
think that I'm
sorry,
attractive or
but
even like
it just
me.
gets me.
I'm gonna be rejected too. Every single person, people will like you or they're not gonna like you. That's just how it's gonna be for me, for literally everybody. The most attractive thing you can be is respectful and kind. And if you want to talk about what it is to be masculine, I honestly think it's respecting everyone who is like all
Yeah.
what women and like I don't want to say like the weaker, but honestly, like men are built as the stronger, as
Yeah.
gender, and I am smaller. I know I appear. I actually people always think I'm like 6 foot tall in my images, but I'm only 5'4". I'm strong. I've trained in my whole life in lots of different athletic sports or dance or movement or theater. But if a big guy is talking rude to me, I feel like I'm not just like, oh, that's shitty. I actually like that's triggering. You don't know people's past experience. You don't know what's going on. Especially as a woman, I'm just like, that's so extra aggressive. Like I actually feel like you might as well have just touched me in the way that you spoke to me because at the end of the day, you are literally bigger and stronger than me. And it's like actually like really like it's such a fuck you because like to women because for how many hundreds and thousands of years have we like not had rights and like we've lived not to turn this whole thing into a feminist seminar, but like
No, you're good. We're pro woman here, man.
let's get real here.
Do
Like
your thing.
it's
Yeah.
2023. You're a man. Are we still belittling and talking like shit to women? Like, are we for real here? Because it's showcasing is your ignorance and just again, masculinity for me is embracing the feminine in yourself and around you because it just is. It's like the hottest thing in the world to me when you can do that. And if you have to like reject and like make fun of the feminine around you and even reject those like the soft parts of your own self, it's like, I feel bad for you, buddy. Like, you're missing out on a lot of beauty. You're going to be, yeah. But I'm basically disagreeing with every single thing you just said. I think that's like the most masculine and hot thing in the world, to respect women, children, elderly people, people with disability, anybody like weaker than you, anyone who's just like not a man. It's really hot that you would respect and take care of those around you.
Like I said,
It feels really shitty. I've spent my whole life getting like weird looks and weird vibes from men as a young age as a woman, and it's really awful. And I just like, it's not that I'm used to it, it's just, it's sensitive, it's a wound. I'm just like done with it. Like, stop. Like, I don't have time for it anymore. I have a partner, and he is the most sensitive and wonderful, loving, gentle man, and I think that's like the most hot thing in the whole world is.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you have somebody that understands you. If he's a wrestler, please tell him about us. So we'd like to have him on the show.
He's like,
because we interview boyfriends and husbands too. Oh yes, we do that too. Don't get it twisted.
oh my gosh, he's a beautiful musician. He's a jazz musician. We both trained at Humber in Toronto. There's it's in Etobicoke. There's a school here called Humber College, and they have an incredible jazz program, and they have an incredible theater program, and we both studied there, and that's how we both first met. But yeah, I'm learning a lot about basketball through him, and he's learning a lot about wrestling through me, but he's not really a wrestling person at all, which is hilarious. He doesn't like violence. Like, his first wrestling show I took him to was a Greektown wrestling show here last summer, and the title match was a death match between Eddie Kingston and Channing Decker.
Oh,
and
man.
It was like so long. It was like they were fighting on a Zamboni. I think they drove in on a Zamboni. Everything was covered in blood, and I was just like, "Oh, welcome to your first wrestling show."
Jesus.
Poor thing. He's like,
oh, man.
I just want to support you. So it's kind of funny. I was just on set last week with Channing Decker. We got to be on set together, and I never really got to be friends with him or talk to him too much in real life before, and it was a blast. He's a lovely human being. But I told him there was a show here in Toronto, a Destiny show. I guess it was probably 2018. It was before the pandemic. And there was a couple behind me, and it was kind of like me and my partner, where he was there for her. She was the wrestling fan. And it's funny when you see this, because this isn't too often. Usually the girlfriend's just tagging along with their boyfriend who likes wrestling. But the first match was Channing Decker, and I forget who it was, but there was so much blood. It was like there was definitely a suitcase involved, and the suitcase cut the top of Decker's head, like right open so bad he went to the hospital that night, and the whole entire front row was just covered in blood, and they had to basically do like a cleanup in aisle front row, like the entire ring, and they had to do an intermission, and in the entire 15-minute intermission they spent cleaning all this blood up. The guy was passed out on his girlfriend's shoulder. He saw the blood and fully passed out for the entire intermission on his girlfriend's shoulder, and she was just like, it's his first wrestling show. And that's how I felt last year, bringing my poor guy. It's not
perhaps
often see it in that way.
Perhaps he may have wanted to start with just a technical match, or in the vein of a Zack Sabre Jr. or a Brian Danielson.
Zack Sabre Jr. is so awesome, by the way. I'm such a fan. I would love to meet him. Always just been so great. So well spoken, just looks so good. Such a sophisticated athlete. He's one of the real, like, we were talking earlier about how rare it is to find a wrestler who's both athletically gifted and gifted in their mic skills, performance skills, and that's where you get the valets and you get these other positions. Because a lot of people just think, and I talk about this a lot, but I will never stop talking about it, that, I was a wrestling fan as a kid. I just wake up and be a wrestler all of a sudden. it's hard. First of all, I feel like yes, you do need to know a lot about wrestling, and you absolutely, that's going to help you be a better wrestler, is all of your knowledge. But for me as an artist, just studying art isn't going to help me be a better artist. I have to study a lot of different things in this world. It's not, and also you have to practice. Like, if you weren't spending your whole entire childhood and youth in some sort of sport or performing, I just don't know where your actual lived experience is. Yes, you're sitting on a couch watching wrestling, and that's awesome. But it's so much more than that. Taking a bump is so hard. Another problem, I mean, I could do it, but I choose to keep my neck. I don't want to destroy my neck permanently.
That's right.
So it's hard to find both. And I feel like some people might be like, oh, all of a sudden, where's your work as a wrestler, Lulu? What do you deserve to be here? It's like, I deserve to be here because you were sitting on the couch watching wrestling, and I don't know, being a barber in your 20s. I was on a stage somewhere. I was doing the work. So, because I'm coming at it again from the entertainment side of the business, I've been doing that my whole life. So that is my work. And you look at people like David Arquette, who he got this title, which was nobody was happy about. You're not a wrestler. How dare you walk away with this title with WWE? And then sweet, lovely, amazing David Arquette goes and he does it. He does the hard work. He goes right right down to the independent, right from the beginning, and he works his way up. I think that's amazing. Even look at Bad Bunny right now. He's not just a fan. He's putting the work in. I heard it took him 3 months to prepare for that backlash. So I'm just saying, like, it's so much more than you just are a fan and you think you can do it. It's it's not for everyone. And those who are are insanely talented people.
In my opinion, you're already a cut above the rest because you have that theatrical background. So managing and theater, they go hand in hand, because you have to find a way to get the emotion out of the crowd, to make them laugh, to make them cry, to make them be angry. It's not something that everybody can do, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure. So you having that background helps you a lot. So if you can, you've been training all these years to have people hang on every word. Okay, what is Lulu gonna say next? I can't believe she said that. Oh man, that's messed up. How she's feeling. Yes, Lulu, you're the best. You're right, man. We're behind you. So and I'm not just saying this just to get cool points and whatnot. Like, I'm legitimately giving credit where credit's due. You are definitely on your way. You're doing it right, and whereas most people, I'm pretty sure, don't have that theatrical background, you actually have an advantage there. As a matter of fact, I think you're like we've hardly had people that can say they've worked in theater and are also in the wrestling business on our show. Rob, if I'm missing any, please correct me. But we've had like I could probably count on maybe one hand, maybe half of my second hand, almost half my second hand, the amount of people that have had a theatrical background and are in the wrestling industry that have actually been on our show as guests.
And it's also totally different from theater and film, though, because when I worked in the company, so when I graduated Humber, I was the only person in my graduating class. It's an amazing school. They really treated it like a private school. It started with 30 students in year one. And then by the time we got to the third year, it was down to 16. So it was like they were cutting people. So it's a very special school where we got a lot of intimate, training. By the end of the third year, I was the only person in my class asked to be a part of the artistic director's professional company, Tatiana Jennings, outside of the school. Her professional company is called the Katazuki Collective. Katazuki. It's an ode to the Katazuki performers in Japan, and these performers in Japan, they were called the Katazuki because it translates to at the gates, and they would travel and they would perform at gate fronts, And the idea is that the performer is like in between. They're the gate between the mundane reality and being transported into this sort of magical realm. This is what happens in film and any great show or any even music or any beautiful experience where the artist is able to transport you. You're not thinking about your grocery list anymore, or yesterday, or the day before. You're in the moment, and that's what's so special to me about live performance, or to be and experience any form of art that is well done and really transports you. So anyways, I worked in this company, and where was I going with this? I swear I was going somewhere with this. What were we just talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, so I was talking about
We were talking about
in school.
being in the acting school. You being in the you have a step up above everybody because you actually took theater classes and
right,
all that good
and
stuff.
so I finished, and I was asked to be a part of this company, and this is where I'm saying it's different, because we would rehearse, and our shows were highly planned. So when I would go out onto the stage, everything was just precise. It was like a dance. And for wrestling, not even close. Like, so much of it is improvised. We know the skeletal structure of what's going to happen, but most of everything that's fleshed out before your eyes is improvised. In fact, when people say wrestling's fake, it's all planned, what's happening is very, very real, and this spontaneity and this quality that comes from a lot of it being improvised, which is totally true. Even today, like, apparently the Canadian destroyer that Bad Bunny did at the Backlash was total, not improvised, but nobody knew about it except for like him, and I guess that was it.
Was it The Miz, right? Was it The
Yeah,
Miz?
it was just those two. They were the only ones, and so that's not something I come from. That's totally new for me. So when we're talking about building a gimmick and a character, you got to be out working it. I can't think about it. I can think about it and plan it as much as I want in my head. But until I'm there live in front of everyone, that's when you're going to see if you're going to get the pop or not. That's when you're going to see how it's going to work out. Are you the heel? Are you the face? We don't know. So much of it is live in that moment that we're figuring out together. It's so special because it's definitely not highly rehearsed. You're dealing with people who work very, very hard in their training, and they have a language, and they're improvising in that language together. Like my partners in jazz musicians who are able to improvise together come from extreme training. They're speaking a very specific language, and some people I guess they're just the best at what they do, and they know how to work with each other. Like, this is why you're going to see amazing matches between like top wrestlers. Bret Hart was recently bashing today's wrestling for being so phony, because it is kind of like one guy throwing himself off a top rope, like pretending he's a bowling ball to like 20 other guys, is like ridiculous. Like, if you okay, sure, like DDT in Japan, yes, let's wrestle, blow up dolls, like, let's go for it, let's be crazy and ridiculous, we're doing that. But I cannot take certain things. Do not ask me to take that seriously. Like, that one guy's going to take out 20 guys like that, So there is a certain level of the true athleticism that I miss, and I really appreciate and really respect, because deathmatch, I feel like, is, people think, oh, well, I really want to see the blood. That makes it real for me. In fact, I'm kind of bored with deathmatch right now. There's this girl from Japan. I think her name is Mika Ito. Is that her name? Miko Ito? I don't know. She was just recently in a GCW show. It's Miko Ito. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. She's very interesting to me. That's awesome. Like, there's like depth, storyline. She's amazing. Like, Megumi Kudo. I love this. But deathmatch recently, like today, I'm not really super interested. I actually find it boring and predictable and fake and just like violence for violence sake. I feel like real athleticism is more interesting to me. I don't know. That's just currently right now what I feel as a personal thing. I don't really need to see all the blood anymore. It's pretty. It's aesthetically really cool. Like as an aesthetic, as these shots, beautiful. Like FMW shots are pieces of art. Like I would blow them up right here and put them on the wall. Stunning imagery. I'm totally into that. But to go to a mat, like I'm not like, holy shit, I need to go see a death match these days, because I'm actually kind of bored. I find regular professional wrestling more interesting. I actually find it more real. They're doing really, really, really more real and dangerous things when they're truly working the craft and art of professional wrestling, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just my taste. You know, everyone has different tastes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is hard and stuff, like I just ring announce rep, you know what I mean? Like, if they need me, I can manage his stuff, you know what I mean? Whatever and all, but I don't wrestle, but I did have to go in there and learn how to take a bump. I had to learn how to run the ropes, and I had to learn how to do, I know how to do a little bit of stuff, but yeah, even though I had to do that, I do that, I had to learn all that good stuff and all, it's like, and there's people bigger and stronger than me that went in there and they're like, I'm good. I can't do this, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, there she is. That's who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, sorry. Oh.
Now, I did want to ask about ring announcing and stuff. Your first time going out there ring announcing. Do you have any funny stories going out there? Like your first time or whatever. Because personally, on my first time ring announcing, it was our first show on regional on TV and stuff. TV taping. And I'm out there, I'm ready. I got all the wrestlers, stuff. I'm ready to roll. And the promoter comes up to me. He's like, all right, man, you ready to roll? Did you get a script? I'm like, what script? What are you talking about, script? You know what I mean? All right, well, we need to go out there. And I heard, the TV people like 10, 9, 8. I'm like, what? The 3, 2, 1. He's like, all right, get out there. I crossed the rope or the curtain. I forgot everything he told me. I'm just out there like flying on autopilot. It's like, well, I'll just make believe I'm supposed to be here and people believe me. And I guess that's what happened. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right.
Oh,
Is there anything happen, crazy to you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, exactly like I was saying. You can plan as much as you want, but something out of your control is going to happen. Oh, just to go back to who I was talking about, her name is Mika Ito.
Oh, okay.
Ito. I just want to say that in terms of if you are into deathmatch, I would say she's probably the most interesting in my opinion right now. Again, I still really, really, really appreciate it. I respect it. I would love to go, I'd go to a show, but it's not my personal taste. But I do, just to go back to that, I think she's incredibly interesting. And I'm a fan. But for funny things, on the last show, this is how the feud started with Johnny the One, who's a manager. He manages a wrestler named Chris Barnes, who I also met on the set of Darkside of the Ring. Matt Barnes. Why did I say Chris? We were already talking about Chris. Matt was also on the set of Darkside of the Ring. He played a wrestler in my episode, and he works for Superkick. He's a fantastic wrestler, and he was fighting. He had a fight against Dallas Kyle, again, another up-and-coming star from the Toronto scene. Dallas Kyle's amazing. Dallas's manager is Johnny the One, and I'm announcing their event. And I know, this is the only thing I know, is that Johnny's going to take the mic from me so that he can cut a promo, because he's a heel manager and he's great. He cut an excellent promo. But when he takes the mic from me, he's a real jerk about it. And speaking about me not liking jerks, especially jerk men in wrestling, I really acted it up. We didn't plan this at all in any way, shape, or form. But when he's not looking, I just had this image in my head of Sable giving her two middle fingers up to Vince McMahon to his back. I love that image too of Sable. Her fingers are basically bent the other way. It's like the biggest middle fingers I've ever seen in my life, especially with her long nails. It looked amazing. So I was like, I'm going to just pull a Sable right now. And when Johnny's not looking, I'm going to give him a big double, flip bird. And when I did it, I didn't mean to, but I did actually accidentally bump into him, and he flipped out, and he used it, and he freaked out at me, and he ended up calling me a bitch in front of the audience. The audience gasped. Now they're really on my side, because yes, it's 2023, and people don't want to see men calling women bitches.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty edgy because you don't normally see that happening. So for sure, now I've got the fan base. They're all on my side, and so I guess for the rest, and that wasn't planned at all. So that's not really like it's not funny, but I did not actually mean to hit him, and he was like, "Did you?" He thought I did. But I just thought that was really fun and funny. But now it's a big deal because now I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to keep going with this. And for the rest of the show, I was just blowing kisses at him. But that was funny. And that's the fun stuff that can happen because you can't plan it. That wasn't planned at all. And now we're having an issue. So.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those things happen. Those things happen. I know when I was ring announcing, sometimes we would switch off. I would ring announce, and then our match would get done. CCW would come in, and Rosaria, she would come in, and she'd ring announce or whatever. Well, I was coming out. She was coming in. I'm coming out. And, some guys, they're all heckling me from the crowd. They're like, "We want the pretty one. What are you doing out here?" So I'm just like, "Well, they gave you the sexy one." You know what I mean? So they all start laughing. And I didn't hear anything after that. You know what I mean? But it was funny though. I was like, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I would too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, our last guest ring announcer that we had on the last show was PJ Fell from, if anybody grew up in the 90s and watched YTV. PJ Fell was one of our last ring announcing guests. But for funny things that happened in the past couple shows.
I heard a white TV. I remember that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I so far, I don't have any good enough, crazy, like accidental stories yet so far. But I feel bad for this one girl in the front row. One of the first shows I did, I feel like in Super Kicked, they don't have seats. It's like a really cool vibe if you come to one of these shows. It's in the Great Hall in Toronto, and it has a very Fight Club vibe. So everybody can be right up to the ring. They can be touching. You can be literally on it. Like you're pushed up to the ring, and they have this big balcony. So people are above you, and they're kind of dangling over. And it's really cool space to go to a Super Kick show. And I feel bad because on my very, very first show, I just totally didn't figure, like I didn't know where I was going to get off. And I'm pretty sure I just like jumped off the stage onto this poor woman. And I was sweaty at the time because one of the other wrestlers had this costume on. It was all these black feathers and he was sweating and all the black feathers were just like dripping in sweat and it was disgusting. And they were on me. And this poor woman, like, you chose to be in the front row. So I guess that's what you get. But she just had all these like wet, sweaty feathers. Like now they're all over her. And I guess it's not as bad as getting a ladder almost at you. That's what happens. That's what happens at Super Kick shows. You got to watch out if you're front row because you're gonna get something. Even one of the front row guests or like fans. I said guests. Oh my god, who am I? Well, our wrestling guests.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I know what you mean now. I know what you mean.
The one was just pounding their hands so hard on the side of the ring that one of their rings flew off in the middle of the match into the ring.
Oh, wow.
Our ref Green Shoes was pissed right off. Didn't even want to give the ring back to the fan. Was like, don't you ever let that happen again. It was a mistake though. But it is fun. You don't know what's going to happen at the shows. And it's great for the fan involvement because when the ladders matches happen and the ladders go this way, that way, or whatever, you better be watching because you're not in a seat removed from the ring. You're on the ring. So you got to watch out. But it's a fun time.
Oh yeah, especially I've reffed on some of that stuff. Yeah, you gotta make sure your head's on the swivel. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but I also love doing that when I'm reffing. When my mom and dad come because I always hear them. You know what I mean? Over everybody because sometimes they'll chant like if I'm blind, like so there's chicanery going on behind me and I'm yelling to somebody get down like look behind you. This ref sucks. I always hear my mom and dad. They're the loudest. This ref sucks. I'm like, thank you, mom.
Do you want to continue pursuing refereeing?
Yeah, I still ref, whatever 1CW, whatever they need me to do. If they need me to sit out there and take tickets at the door, I'll do it for them. What I mean? I just love it. I love being a part of it. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because
Oh, I
last
hope
show they
you.
had me doing camera, so I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever they need me to do. I told them that. They
Maybe
told me
we.
that when I got hired, they're like, we want a utility man. We want somebody we can plug in. You can do great at everything. And they plug me in, the ring announcer, the referee, and man, whatever they do, I'll do my thing. What I mean, I'll do the best of my abilities. Try not to
That's
let them down.
awesome. That's because your heart's in it. That's
Hmm.
how I feel about Dark Side of the Ring. I would never do background work on a show, but if it's for Dark Side, yes, I will do background work for you because I want to be here. It's a pleasure. It's absolute pleasure to go to that set. But yeah, you were just talking about ref work. That's that's a tough job.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Have you ever, like, I guess you already told your crazy story, but
Oh no, I have some funny ref stories. I had one like on the first time I ref where I ate a bunch of McDonald's and I was gassy, and what I mean, I had stuff like that. What I mean, like I was blowing the ring up. What I mean, like it was a face off, and I had it was the main event face off, and the two wrestlers, they come up like this, and I'm supposed to go up there and be like that, and I'm like, man, my stomach's rumbling. I'm like, sorry guys. They're like, damn, did you soil yourself? I'm like,
oh
nah, it's just the
no,
McDonald's and stuff,
oh,
man. I'm like, woo, I was blowing it up, man. It was like, oh. As a matter of fact, this match right here.
oh my
It's always a
god,
reminder.
the McRef. Oh my lord. Well, I mean, here I am being like, I'm pretty sure I ate 2 a.m. McDonald's last night. So
Yeah,
who am I to talk?
yeah. It doesn't matter. What I mean, I'm good. I was good to go. I mean, nothing
Oh
bad
my word.
happened. In the ring. What I mean, I was good to go. It's just,
Oh,
it was nerves and McDonald's. What I mean, all coming together. So.
shit goes down in the ring, literally. I mean, if anyone's ever watched the Hot Ones episode with Stone Cold, he talks about that.
Yeah.
He talks about shitting himself in the ring.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, it happens. I'm not. I don't hate on anybody because like I heard Hulk Hogan said one time, Andre the Giant stepped on his stomach, and then I mean, yeah, I
yeah,
probably would
they
have
say
too.
wrestling's fake. It's real.
Yeah, yeah,
Real. Like,
it's
no, for
definitely
real.
real.
Real things go down.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Now
we
I do
should
gotta
come.
ask, because yeah, it's starting to get close to that TA Magnum
I
episode.
know,
I
we
don't want
got
to.
to get. No,
Yeah,
we
yeah. So
absolutely all have to
yeah,
make
so I
sure we
got one more.
see that. We're
Yeah, I
not
got one
missing.
more question for you before I pass it on to Remy to end the show and stuff. Since you're off and stuff today, are there any new movies and TV shows and stuff that you're into right now? Because I'm always trying to find something new to watch. I always get caught in those comfort shows. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always trying to find something new.
Oh, that's fun. I love talking about that. It's funny because I just said earlier that I don't really have any TV series that I'm like addicted to right now, but there's so many I've been constantly told. Like someone told me, Better Call Saul's amazing. White Lotus was apparently amazing. Like I totally trust these people. I'm sure they're amazing, and I can't wait to watch them. But I actually just went to the movies last night and I saw The Little Mermaid.
Oh, okay, was it pretty good?
Okay.
It was really fun. I mean, I grew up in that era, so it's 100% made for people like me. And I mean, they're making new fans right now. For things that I'm excited about, I love going to the movies. So I'm pumped for the new Barbie movie. There's the new Wes Anderson movie. There's, I guess, Oppenheimer's coming out this summer. For TV series, like, what we just straight up, you just told me that Squid Game's coming back, so obviously we'll be
Yeah.
watching that. For TV series that I really want to watch, it's funny, sometimes I just rewatch old series. Like I recently just, like, I love The Sopranos. I'm a Sopranos person. I'm like watched it 6 times probably at least. I mean, that's not even a lot. I'm sure there's people who've watched it way more, but I think that's one of the greatest of all time because I love the level of like surrealism they also have in there. That's like, I just love it. But I watched the Saints of the what is it called again? The
Saints of New York or
Saints
whatever.
of
Yeah.
Newark.
Newark, yeah, Newark, yeah.
The something Saints of
Prequel.
Newark.
Yeah.
So that was the last, I guess, thing that I watched TV related, and then I rewatched all the Stranger Things recently because
Yeah, I did that too.
that's really
Because I had to get called. I have to get called up because they got a new season coming out. I had to watch that too.
no, yeah, and like the casting's so great. It's so fun. It's awesome. A movie, some of the best movies that I've seen this year. Oh my God, Wick. John Wick 4 is
Ooh, yes.
probably one of the top films or movies I've seen this entire year. The Whale was amazing. I'm like, if I could meet Darren Aronofsky, I would give him a hug because I think that was beautiful and that was a beautiful story that he told. But Wick is awesome. I'm on the Wick train. Like, it's 4 hours, but it was the fastest 4 hours ever. Like, Keanu Reeves, like, please, like, I just saw a picture of, I think it was Kenny Omega. I don't know who posted it recently, but a picture of Keanu Reeves and Kenny Omega together, and I feel like my screen like shattered. Like, I wasn't sure how to deal with life. If I could meet Kenny Omega and Keanu Reeves and also be in that picture, I'd be like, cool, I did it. I succeeded in life. But for movie recommendation, I guess that's going to be the one I'm sticking with right now. Watch John Wick 4, and if you didn't watch the first ones, or you have, just rewatch all of them because it's the most fun time. And the fight direction and stunts are out of this world. Like, I don't think you're going to top that for fight movies. Like, this year, definitely not. No one's going to top that.
That's
if you want to, like,
it all
wrestling,
started over
look at fight choreography, that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with John Wick because I have 3 beagles of my own, and yeah, what they did to his beagle, now, yeah, I would have done the same thing. I'd have 4 or 5 movies of me doing that too. You know what I mean? I gotta avenge my beagles.
Also,
I love my dogs.
If you do rewatch the Wicks, there is a very famous wrestler in one of them. Can you name that wrestler?
I can't remember what.
Luke Hawk?
Kevin Nash.
Oh yeah, he was the bouncer. He went up to him and was like, he was like, take the night off. He was like, all right, yeah, that's right, yep.
Yep, you got it. And I remember rewatching it, and I forgot about it, and I just like jumped out of my seat because I completely had forgotten. I was like, holy shit! So that's awesome. That's another reason to rewatch all of that because Kevin Nash is in it. So good.
That's right. Hey, yeah, and if you want to go back, old school Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze, that's my mom's man right there. Terry Funk was in that movie. And
your mom is the best taste ever. Shout out to your mom. Like, awesome. Best taste. Oh no, you're pausing again.
I think you just froze.
We have to watch. We have to get our stuff ready. We got to get our snacks ready. We got to smoke our weed. We got to go to the bathroom, take a bathroom break. We got to get ready for Darkside of the Ring. 10 p.m.
Wait, what time is it? Oh, it's 10 p.m. Oh, right. Yeah.
Like, we got to get ourselves situated. I mean, I'd love to do viewing parties, but I don't know, maybe another time. And maybe another time we can maybe schedule like a live viewing party for a Darkside episode. Oh no. Did I lose you? I'm still here.
No, I'm still here. Rob, I don't know about Rob though.
But yeah.
Rob. Ah, here he is.
It's been so fun hanging out with Remy and Rob.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's been a blast hanging with you too. I do want to say, before we end the show, pass back to Remy. I do want to say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on chat with us. I definitely had a blast. This is one of my favorite episodes and stuff. I wish nothing but the positive things to happen to you and everything. Everything you work for and all that. I hope all the great things come to you and your family and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much. You're just the most lovely. I felt like I've just known you two for a while. We only just met, and yet, well, you can now say you have your friend Lulu in Toronto. Because, like,
there you go. Yeah, we talked everything: wrestling, dating tips. The gossip in here. Spilling tea, all that. We ran the game.
A lot of ground.
It's been, and that's why that's what we aim for. We just aim to be a chill. I mean, yes, we're professional with how we move, but we just aim to be a chill podcast, a chill environment, and that's all. That's all we aim for. We don't really aim to be like, the best podcast. We just aim to be a safe space, a chill space, and whatnot, and also to be one of the best wrestling podcasts, a wrestling fan. And I say one of, for those of you thinking one of, meaning there's others. You could check them out too. We're one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to as well, because you never know what story you might hear about. You never know what journey our guests go through, or what experiences our fans may have, our fellow wrestling fans may have whenever they go to events and so on. Or you might even witness their own growth right there. I mean, we had several of them that were on 15 Minutes of Fandom, and then they end up being on the main show.
Crazy.
So,
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
awesome. Congratulations to that person too. They did such a great job.
it's actually been persons, because we had Diamond Sheik that went on to become a wrestler and promoter, and then we had Ella J, who went on to actually.
Ella, I just spoke with Ella last week.
Wow, really?
You guys know
Okay,
Ella?
then. Small world. Yeah, we know
Oh,
Ella
good,
J.
I love
Yeah.
Ella. Hi,
She's a
Ella.
good
We
friend
had
of
her
the
on
show.
here.
I'll say hi to
We're
Ella.
awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I just
We
spoke
had
with Ella
on.
last week.
We had her on here for 15 Minutes of Fandom, and then we had her on. Then I told Ella, I'm like, Ella, if you've been doing great with your podcast, if we ever find out you end up in the industry as a wrestler, manager, heck, even a commentator, we're gonna have you back on the show. Lo and behold, CCW, which Ra actually mentioned, CCW is one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best all-women's promotions in the country. Um, they hired her as a commentator, and we're like, okay, congratulations. Now we want to talk about it. We're gonna have you back on our flagship show. So, you
Guys,
never
that's
know where.
awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah. We've had people that have gone on to WWE. We've had Roxanne Perez has been on our show. We had AQA, who was signed to WWE and AEW. We've had Amari Miller, who's currently signed to WWE. We have had several people that have gone on to do great things, and we're very proud of them and them meeting their goals and getting repaid for all their hard work and so on. So, getting rewarded for all their hard work. So, it's a great thing. It's a great. I like to think that eventually we motivate people to keep on going just by doing stuff like this, just like having them on and giving them that second, I guess, for lack of a better term, that second breath of fresh air. That, hey, we see what you're doing, we appreciate it. Keep on going on. Don't stop. No, you're so close. Don't stop, because you have somebody that's watching right now that may be gaining inspiration from you, and you're that inspiration. You being on this show is that inspiration for that person to keep on going with their dreams when they think, it's a fool's errand when it's all in vain. So that's one of the things that we actually aim for. And like I said in the beginning, it's not about us. Yes, we do a fancy intro for each of ourselves. But I always say it's not about me and Rob. It's not about Rob Bass. It's definitely not about Remy Blue. It's about the guests and just creating, a safe space. I know it might sound like a pipe dream, but it's just something that we enjoy doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing, and you've given me all of this time, and you've given us a platform to be able to talk about what we love and be seen. You're doing it, and I'm really grateful to you for that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I'll take y'all up on that. If I'm ever in Toronto, me, you, and your partner, perhaps maybe we could do some lunch somewhere. Maybe at Harborfront or
CN Tower. We're going to
actually,
the CN Tower.
Yeah, CN Tower. Maybe we could all do that. Beg your pardon?
Yeah, I gotta get down there. Maybe Superkick needs to do a show down there. Maybe we need to travel. I'm not sure how this is gonna work, but I cannot wait to meet you both in real life. And I look forward to, hopefully it's at a wrestling show. That'll be really, really cool. But we'll make it happen. We'll talk again. I'd love to come back and hang out. Maybe we have another person on too. Bring Ella back on. We'll just talk together. Or I'll bring. Actually, you know what? For real though, we can get some more Darkside people on, and we'll have some more Darkside.
I would definitely love that.
Yeah,
hopefully we can get Zach.
Yeah, you guys gotta get Zach. He's sweet. He's amazing.
Maybe we can get the half-baked kid and ask him, which and I'm not making fun of marijuana smokers, but which strain does it for this? Which strain gives us that energy? Which strain helps us mellow down? because a lot of people tend to look at it like, it's something funny, but I'm pretty sure there's certain types that actually do different things. So,
For sure. I mean, there's a lot of
yeah.
wrestlers now who have CBD brands because it's so good for muscle pain. It's really
Yeah.
actually great. Yeah, Chris Chambers, we'll get him on here for sure. Half Baked Kid, the HBK from Darkside. We'll make it happen because we're like a lot of the people are located. They flew in a lot of different wrestlers. Like Zach doesn't live here, and some of the wrestlers like Ronnie, who's you're gonna see tonight, he's from the States, so they flew him in for this because he was so perfect for the role. So going into Darkside tonight, on the TA Magnum episode, I really hope you appreciate all the work they put in because it's mind blowing, and the casting is crazy. Like Ronnie's so perfect for this character. I'm so excited for you guys tonight. And we can get Ronnie on the show too. Maybe he'll talk. That'll be cool.
Honestly speaking, we're down to interview anybody. I mean, we even emailed it's Evan, right? And I forgot. I think it's Jake is the other guy, right? But I know we emailed them about being on the show. We don't know how far that's going to go. We know they're two very busy men, but like I said, yeah.
The producers? There's Jason Eisner and Evan.
Jason, that's his name. I know it started with Alisa J. I know Evan Husney, that's the other guy. Two brilliant guys. And
sorry, Evan Husney and Jason Eisner. And then the director of my episode is Andy Appel. I think there was a different director for certain blocks. Jason Eisner I did get to work with these past couple of weeks, which is really, really special. But yeah, Andy Appel directed the TA Magnum episode and my episode as well. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So would that be?
You should talk to all of them, but yeah, the episode's gonna air in almost 15 minutes. I'm so excited.
So with that being said, we're not gonna hold you up. But for those y'all listening, make sure you check out Darkside of the Ring. I'm gonna briefly go down very quickly. So we got Magnum TA tonight. Next week we have the Graham family, which is Eddie Graham and Mike Graham, and I believe Billy Graham was part of that family too. June 20th, we have Doink the Clown, the original one played by Matt Bourne. Junkyard Dog is June 27th. We have Adrian Adonis. Next, we have Down to the Beach 2000, which was which covers the backstage dispute between Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan. Abdul the Butcher, that's the third to last one. Second to last one, that's on July 25th. August 1st, we have Bam Bam Bigelow. And last but not least, the one I am most anticipating, the one I will be all ears, all eyes, all five senses. Well, not all five senses, but at least all eyes and all ears. Marty Jannetty, August 8th will be that will be the season finale. Check them all out. All great stories. Support, Darkside of the Ring. They're doing a lot of great work, as well. And with that being said, yes, Darkside starts in a little over 15 minutes. So that being said, we need some time to get our snacks and our beverages, and also just to unwind and check out what the next story is. But before we do that, before we shut this down, Lulu, it was an honor, a pleasure having you on the show. We really and truly appreciate it. We are very happy for your success and wish you more continued success. If you win an Oscar, please don't forget us little people down here at Ringside Society. But we wish you nothing but the absolute best. Keep up with the phenomenal work you're doing. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't let nobody dim your shine. You keep on shining, because there's always going to be people out there that are going to try to say, that are going to hate on you because either they couldn't do better, or they just don't have anything better to do. So
that's an excellent piece of word. Those are beautiful words. Thank you so much.
Like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said, when people say you can't, if they're showing you their limitations are not yours. Keep on striving and keep on thriving. And before we shut this down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find a way your next appearances in pro wrestling or your next movie project? And where can bookers, promoters, and agents find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right. So you're going to find Lulu on Instagram and Twitter at Lethal Miss Lulu. And anyone who wants to book me can email me at wrestlinglulu@gmail.com. No spaces, just wrestlinglulu@gmail.com. And again, social media is at Lethal Miss Lulu. The next Super Kick show here in Toronto is going to be June 16th. Not this Friday, but next Friday at the Great Hall here in Toronto. So be there.
Awesome. So y'all definitely, for those of you in the Toronto area, those of you in Toronto and the surrounding areas, make sure you head on over, check out Super Kick. It's a fun promotion. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, do not sleep on Canada. Canada is not just Bret Hart and the Rougeos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. There are a lot of phenomenal men and women there. I always say, check it out. All you got to do, everything's at a click of a button. Go on YouTube, go on Fight TV, go on IWTV. You have a lot of, promotions in Canada. You can check out a lot of great and amazing men and women there as well. So you will not be bored. As a matter of fact, you'll be like this. That's how I was when I saw all the Canadian wrestlers over there. So yeah, I'm serious. I'm not capping. It's serious. Check out the wrestling in Canada. You will be amazed. A great bunch of wonderful men and women there, and you will be thoroughly entertained. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy, but I'm going to make sure I watch that Dark Side of the Ring. Well, no, my eyelids are not getting heavy, actually, surprisingly. But
no, they're not.
It's my stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and Dark Side of the Ring. But before I indulge in those two great activities, my base, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Bubba Ray to my Devon, and the Shelton Benjamin to my Charlie Haas. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out your next appearances, purchase Raw Base merchandise? And where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rob_Base82, Facebook Rob Base, and then June 15th, June 25th, and then July 6th. 1CW, we're going to be in Milford, Selbyville, and Houston. We got 3 shows. We got some coming weeks going on for the coming weeks. We're going to tear the house down. There's going to be title matches. Feuds are going to start. Feuds are going to end. There's going to be a lot of excitement. Get your tickets now or whatever, because it's going to end up being standing room only, and you want to get your seats now. You don't want to be in the back, all the way in the back, not being able to see anything, just relying on my loud voice, for what's going on. So, yeah, just go get your tickets now. It's going to be awesome shows. And, yeah, you definitely don't want to miss it.
And if you want to find me on, matter of fact, if you're in the surrounding areas for those shows, go over there and check out 1CW. There are a lot of great, talented men and women in the DMV area as well. I wish I could go there, but unfortunately, my day job calls, and I actually like my day job, so I won't be able to make it. But if you're in there, make sure you support them. If they're your local promotion, head on over there, support 1CW. They're doing great things. It's always good to support indie wrestling. And like I said, those of y'all that know me, you know what I'm going to say. If you don't support indie wrestling, Rob Base is going to come to your house and eat all your food. And trust me, when you get home, you look into your pot, your refrigerator, you'll see a skipping rope in your pot in your refrigerator. That means you got to skip that meal because Rob done ate all your food. So definitely make sure you go ahead and support indie wrestling as well too. And if you want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places these days. I just came back from Miami. You can definitely find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue as well. And our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. And we're also on Spotify, and we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies, we even have, coffee mugs and pillows as well too. So make sure you check us out, cop some merch. All proceeds go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. I'm still eating hamburger helper, and Rob is still apparently eating Kool-Aid sandwiches. So please, definitely go ahead and get some merch.
I'm gonna
It
buy
it, it
some.
just goes.
I can't wait to have some of your merch. I'd love
We
to.
appreciate it.
I'll take a nice picture, and of course, I want to support you. We'll make it happen. And I think
We'll say it.
everybody should do.
We'll say the link, definitely. But definitely check us out. We still gotta drop our new logo, which was inspired by one of our alumni guests. First ever wrestler inspired logo, but we're definitely gonna be dropping it real soon. But with that being said, we have a lot of cool designs. St. Patrick's, Valentine's Day. We even have an American flag one for some reason. I don't know. But definitely check us out. You will not be, disappointed. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where we have cool interviews like this one, like the one we had with Katie Hebner, the daughter of Earl Hebner, Michael Martinez, who's the brother of Damian Priest, the Vanity Twins, and many other great men and women, that are in the professional wrestling industry. All you got to do is go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. Once you see that really handsome dark blue and light blue yin yang sound, the blue flames around it, that's when it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody that tuned in live tonight. Thank you very much. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to, and we will not stop doing that. So those of you that are listening later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Amazing.
And we ain't stopping. With that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware that everybody and their grandparents and the parents of a podcast, but we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. With that being said, hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for season 4 of Darkside of the Ring. We throwing up fours like Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen, and one time for valet, ring announcer, and actress, Miss Lulu.
Woo!
All right, guys. I gotta go watch. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Do your thing. Do your
What
thing.
type of podcast
I
are we?
need to watch this.
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
Have the
It's
best
bigger.
night,
Yeah.
and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for being the best place to come talk about wrestling, and thank you for the beautiful interviews, for being so sweet. Let's go watch Darkside of the Ring episode 2.
That's right.
Okay.
Awesome.
See ya.
With that
Good
being
night.
said,
Stay
be
classy,
nice
Delaware.
with each other and party on, dudes. We out.
You're the best. Until.